WeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-777-1225.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs this afternoon could break records, reaching the mid to upper 80s. We'll see lots of sunshine with a breeze, then more clouds late today ahead of a good chance for showers and a few storms as a cold front passes late today into early Saturday.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 717 points to 45,242. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
I believe we're that school, right? I believe we're a school that someone can stay for 10 years and have an unbelievably great run here. So that's 100% what we're looking for, right? We don't want to be a stepping stone on the way to another job. And again, we thought we had that, right? In every conversation, in every release, and everything that was out there, we believed that we had that, right? So we're going to go out and find someone again.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Friday, everybody. Gosh, this has been a long week. It packed a lot of news. A lot of news in the Triangle here into 1 week. And there's still a lot to get to. Mm-hmm. Duke plays tonight in the Sweet 16, 7-10 on the tip. The other two teams in the Triangle are looking for head coaches. So, there's a lot of what's the cliche about the Ducks or the Swans? May look calm on the surface, but the legs are cranking underneath. There's a lot of work being done, a lot of calls being made behind closed doors. Canes get back to the on-ice action this weekend. And, we have 3 hours of the drive coming at you. So let's not delay. I'm Tim Donnelly. That's Dennis Cox producing, and this is the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Duke, the 1 seed, the number 1 overall seed, which would be another way I would describe Manor Service Company, who presents the Big 3 at 3. The number 1 overall seed if there were a tournament for service companies that were going to fix your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Manor Service Company presenting the Big Three. Top-seeded Duke, fifth-seeded St. John's in D.C. tonight. Now, there's a few different storylines here, but the one I'll focus on just for right now, right, and we'll come back to it later in the show, is this is the game Duke has been preparing for since they made their schedule. Right, that Michigan game that they played, when was it, late February, which felt like a random middle of the conference schedule gigantic game against a Big Ten team? Well, it turns out it was not random. It was wildly intentional. Where did they play?
Washington, D.C.
Where are they playing tonight against St. John's?
Washington, D.C.
What basketballs did they use in that game?
Wilson.
What basketball games will they use tonight?
Wilson.
Was it against an unfamiliar opponent with a super high payroll?
Yeah.
What is St. John's?
Unfamiliar opponent with a super high payroll.
This is exactly like they dress rehearsed this against Michigan a handful of weeks ago. That's what I talk about when I say that every game on your schedule should be intentional, right? Don't just throw it away with, oh, cool, a neutral court against a good team. No, like a neutral court, but not just any neutral court. Right? If things go well, we'll be one of the top seeds. We'll get to pick our region. We want to be in D.C. Let's do it there. Oh, we've struggled in the past going back and forth between basketballs because we play with Nikes and they play with Spaldings and they play with Wilsons and they play with, I don't know, Nerf. Like if you mix them all together, no, don't mix them all together. Don't randomly choose. Don't pick the one you shoot best with. Pick the one you're going to be shooting with in the biggest games of the year. Because they were the home team in that neutral court game in D.C. against Michigan, so they did get to pick the basketballs. The easy choice would have been to pick the Nikes that you use at home in Cameron Indoor, but they didn't go with the easy decision. They went with the one that's going to most prepare them for tonight. If you're going to pay attention to all those details, you want to see the fruits of the labor, right? Play well tonight, and that looks like a genius move. St. John's no pushover, right? They are, as I said, a super high payroll. They have talent. Rick Pitino's on the other side. This, has a little bit of a history with Duke. If you don't, do you guard the inbounder? That's a question that he's been asked about 1 billion times in the last 40 years because of Duke. Should be a really fun game. And it's on the court, right? I like mixing in. I know we've had a lot of the drama, a lot of the reality show of college sports this week. I like mixing in some actual on-court action. Last night was fun to watch. I didn't have, outside of my bracket, didn't have anything to root for. Tonight, we root local, and there's only one team still playing. That's Duke on the men's side. That is number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
The Carolina coaching search continues. And you know what? We'll tie in a little bit of last night's action. Tommy Lloyd, the head coach of Arizona, that team looked like a wagon. They absolutely throttled Arkansas. And you have to ask yourself, is Tommy Lloyd timing this potential, top of the list status at Carolina as well as you possibly can, right? This is the last negotiating statement, or is he perhaps playing his way out of contention? Because if Arizona wins their next game and goes to the Final Four, you imagine that he would sense that there's not a ton of opportunities to win a national championship over a coaching career, and he might legitimately want to not just talk about it with the media, but legitimately want to eliminate all distractions and perhaps turn down any opportunities to move around. Or maybe Carolina says, listen, we can't wait a week and a half to find our coach or to at least get to the 5-yard line of negotiation, so we'll move on with someone else. All I know is this. Carolina is going to be active, right? As I said, it's the duck cliche. May look calm, but they're going to be cranking away below the surface. And Tommy Lloyd is either playing himself into more money as the head coach of Arizona, meaning more money either at Arizona or Carolina's offer, or he's playing himself completely out of the running for Carolina. Probably not the thing he's thinking about most, right? He should be thinking of a national championship, but it's there. It's a possibility. And then the other names are all the same names we've heard. The Billy Donovans. I will say this, at the risk of being a big old dummy, right? At the risk of saying, we just did it with NC State. At the risk of believing a coach who says he's excited about where he is, again, and having egg on my face, Otzelberger from Iowa State, he's convincing me. I don't think he wants to leave. I think he's a lifer at Iowa State if they'll have him. So either he's a good actor or he actually is going to stay there. I'm buying it either way. I'm taking him out of the running, and he was my first gut instinct for who would get that job. We are going to make bold predictions on who we think will get the job, some outside-the-box predictions later in the show for both UNC and NC State. So start thinking outside the box if you haven't done so already. That is number 2. How about number 3?
Number 3.
It seems like the insiders are getting a little bit further with their insight into who NC State is looking at. Some meetings of the powers that be and some closed door meetings, but the I don't even know, the scuttlebutt, is that the right term? The groundswell seems to be focusing in on Josh Schertz and Justin Gainey. Schertz being from St. Louis, the head coach there, and Justin Gainey being an assistant for Tennessee, who obviously played in the late 90s at NC State. Those would be, in my estimation, most obvious answers, right? Like when that job opened up, when Will Wade, even before it opened up, when the rumors started circulating that Will Wade was going to be bouncing to LSU, it didn't take but 10 seconds for someone to go, Schertz or Gainey? Like it's the most on the surface answers, which I'm not saying they're the wrong answers, but I'm saying I hope you turn over every stone before going back to the most obvious, right? I hope you at least have the meeting where you say, like, no dumb ideas, everybody say a name you're interested in. Let's explore everything before you finish on the 2 that are most obvious. Again, not saying that either of them would be the wrong pick, not saying that they would be awful or just anything. Not saying they'd be the right pick. I'm saying that the most obvious pick shouldn't be the only ones you look at, right? And that goes for anything. I'd be very surprised if, I don't know, you're looking for a house, a car, anything, if you just see one and go, perfect, that's it. No, at least show me a couple around the block, right? Like at least, and then let me see. Like, can I test drive something else? Like, let me see what's going on here before I make my choice. And that would be my only worry, because Schertz and Gainey, they're like right down the middle options for NC State. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Sweet 16 games here on the station later tonight.
That's right, we do.
So basketball fans, just be ready. Don't touch that dial, as they used to say back in the day. It'll be right here on 99.9 The Fan. There's Canes game tomorrow you can listen to here on 99.9 The Fan. There's coaching searches constantly, and breaking news can be found on all of our social medias, 99.9 The Fan. We've been working hard all week to keep you up to date, and we're going to continue to do so. That is our promise. One of the most famous UNC basketball alumni made his opinion felt on what they should be looking for in their next head coach. We'll play that audio and break it down for you next.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry! This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All eyes in the college basketball world, I would say, from like Monday to Thursday evening, and then once again from Friday morning to Friday evening, and then once again on Saturday, are all pointed in the direction of Chapel Hill. When the games are being played, everybody focuses wherever the games are being played. But during all the down periods, the spotlight is on Chapel Hill and on Carolina because they don't have a coach. And that doesn't happen often, and it's an attractive role, and it's a buzzworthy role. And until they fill it, that's where the eyes are going to be. So if you have any connection to Carolina, I saw on the Pat McAfee show they were asking Coach K, because obviously the connection is rivalry, but he has that connection. They're talking to him about the game, the position. If you are anybody that's ever played in, played for, played against Carolina, they are going to ask you. So of course, if you're Kenny Smith and you are a legendary player at Carolina, you are a prominent member of the media, so much so that guys like Stephen A. Smith have thrown your name out there to be the head coach without ever being a coach before, you're, of course, going to be asked about it when you're on camera, when you're doing halftime shows, when you're mixing it up. So Kenny Smith was asked what he wants in the next UNC head coach, and here's his answer.
You have a lineage to every era of basketball that's Carolina that was on that staff, including Hubert Davis. Every era was connected. So that's what makes us special.
Yeah.
That's what, forget all that blue blood. What makes Carolina family is the connection of all of those eras were in one building at one time. And that makes everyone pay attention and have some animosity or some love for us.
Right.
And so the other part of that is the secretaries. They've been there for 10 years. The equipment managers, the strength and conditioning
medical
person,
staff,
decades.
trainers.
So when a new person comes in, if we've hired supposedly outside the family and this new person comes in, they might, oh, this guy was my guy. I want to bring him in as well.
Right.
I will say this. Dean Smith retired as a Tar Heel. Roy Williams retired as a Tar Heel. Hubert Davis was going to retire a Tar Heel. Whoever we come in, they have to want to retire a Tar Heel.
I got you.
I don't care what that means. You have to. You don't want to look for, oh, J.J. Redick is done in L.A. I want to be a Laker.
Yeah.
No.
There's loyalty
you
to the legacy.
retire a Tar Heel, the next person.
I'm not going to disagree with what Kenny Smith said there. The one thing I might add is retiring a Tar Heel is the product. It's not the cause, right? Because if you are a Carolina fan, you're hearing that and you're going, yeah, but that's not really what you want. You don't just want someone that wants to retire a Tar Heel. You want somebody that can retire a Tar Heel. And that's retire as a Tar Heel, not retire a Tar Heel. What I mean is, if you show up and you want to stay in Carolina forever, as you heard Kenny say, that was Hubert Davis. But he didn't have the ability to retire a Tar Heel. How do you retire as the head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels?
Win.
Then it matters if you have the desire to retire as a Carolina Tar Heel, because if you win, other options will open open, right? And don't get it twisted. The best college coaches do have to turn down temptation, and a lot of them can't. Right? Coach K flirted with the Lakers. Rick Pitino did leave for the NBA. Calipari did leave for the NBA. Brad Stevens did leave for the NBA. Billy Donovan did leave for the NBA. Dan Hurley has flirted with the NBA. So you need to have somebody that is good enough that Carolina wants you to retire as a Tar Heel, and somebody who does want to turn down all of that temptation and will not have the urges to go forward and test themselves against a different challenge. Now, to build off of that, I don't think it has to be one of those super established top-end guys. Okay, I don't think it has to be Tommy Lloyd. I don't think it has to be Billy Donovan. I don't think it has to be a whole host of others. There's a, I always try to use these analogies. I'm going to steal a story from Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, the comedian, or actor, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, comedian and actor. He tells a story about like why he chose to try to make it in comedy, and it's because his dad. And you can go find the podcast and everything, but I'll do a quick version of the story. His dad was somebody that wanted to be a performer. Okay? Makes sense, right? And genetics doesn't fall far. Obviously, Jim Carrey, a little bit of a ham. Like, his dad was somebody that wanted to be a performer, but he made the safe choice. He went and became, I think it was an actuary. Right? He's, no, I got a family. I got to support him. I got to wake up, go to work every day. So he became an actuary. And Jim Carrey watched his dad get fired from being an actuary. And a light bulb went off in Jim Carrey's brain, which was, you can take the safe option and still fail. So why not go for all your dreams, right? If you fail, could have failed doing the safe thing. So I'm looking at Carolina and kind of saying the same thing. You can go find the guy that's super proven at Power 5 basketball and has been a number 1 seed and has done this and has done that. And guess what? They might show up in Carolina and it doesn't work. I don't think there are any college coaches that just work in every situation, right? There's no coach that it doesn't matter what logo is on the chest of his polo, he's going to win national championships. It has to be, at least in some form or fashion, a unique fit or a custom fit to the school. The only thing that tremendous success at another power conference school guarantees is that they will be more expensive. So I might swing for the fences a little bit more for somebody that does want to be at Carolina for the long haul and has a little bit more runway, meaning a little bit younger age, and you might be able to pay a little less. And by a little less, I mean a lot of less. We'll use the two examples that are mentioned most often, right? Billy Donovan and Tommy Lloyd. They're, betting favorites depending where you're looking to be the next Carolina coach. Billy Donovan is reportedly making $10 million or $10 million plus, depending where you're looking, per year in Chicago. If you were to say, gamble on somebody in the family like a Jawad Williams, who is an assistant at Cleveland, meaning the Cavaliers, or even bigger of a gamble for somebody way off the board that we haven't even thought of, or that is definitely, quote unquote, not ready, in like Marcus Page. Let's say Jawad Williams comes in at $1.5 million. Marcus Page would take whatever you want to give him. I just found you $9 million. Do you know what the top bracket of NIL money on the court in the rosters of the Sweet 16 is? $10 million plus. I just found you the better part of an elite roster. Add that to what they spent, $14 million this year reportedly?
At least, yeah.
You're up over $20 million easy with the money I just found you. So you might have a coach who's not as proven, who's not as good at timeouts, not as good at substitutions, not as good at all of that, but that guy's got $3 million to spend.
And you could probably find yourself a guy who's a head coach somewhere at a lower school to be a top assistant that can help in that regard.
Tommy Lloyd's buyout is $11 million. If you just find somebody, and it doesn't have to be that big of a jump, if you just find somebody without a buyout, each of the next 5 years, you get an extra $2 million, right? I'm saving you money. $2 million is the difference between like a pretty good point guard and the best point guard in the transfer portal. Go get it every single year for the next 5. And I'll throw this out there. There's never been a better time to do what I'm telling you. Do you know why? Because college basketball has completely changed in the last 5 years. So, Tommy Lloyd, he's been in college basketball for decades and decades. Oh, great. A lot of the experience they had before 5 years ago doesn't really apply. All that experience recruiting before NIL, you're a blacksmith, right? Like, you have a lot of skill. Don't get me wrong. You're a glass blower. Like, it's impressive, but it doesn't apply to what we want now. Right? Because now it's not just about getting mom and dad to send their young man up to you to turn him into adults and to build and to make a decision for the next 40 years. No, it's bottom line negotiating. Coaching before the transfer portal is not the same as what coaching is now. Coaching now includes, well, I can't just be what they call it in Remember the Titans, the mean old cuss. You can't just be that to every player. You got to make it enjoyable or else they'll leave. And you might say, oh, that's what's wrong with today's kids. Fine, that's what's wrong with them. You could say that and your program could keep losing, or you can adapt. So the guys that have all the, he's been to the NCAA tournament 17 out of the last 21 years. It's going like, great. 12 of those appearances don't mean anything because it was playing a different sport. So somebody like, name your guy, right? Jawad Williams is the example I used. Marcus Page would be a less experienced example. Whatever you want. Those guys aren't more than 5 years behind an NIL recruiting experience than anyone. Never has there been a better time to try this. So, yes, you can go safe. And safe will always be explainable in job interviews next winter, right, for the Moneyball fans out there. Right? If you hire Tommy Lloyd and it doesn't work, if you hire Billy Donovan and it doesn't work, if you hire Byington from Vanderbilt and it doesn't work, it's very easy for you to turn around and go, how are we supposed to, it's a very logical decision. They had success and it just didn't translate, and can't blame me for taking that one. Meanwhile, if you take a more, risky path and it doesn't work, people are going to look at you and go, you should have known. And I disagree with the sentiment. I disagree with the sentiment. The UNC standard is what the UNC standard is. That doesn't change for anyone that takes that job, but also that you'd be taking different jobs. Right? If you take the job and you want to make $10, $12 million a year, that is a different job than someone that's taking $2, $3 million a year. Because that other money, assuming it's not going away, can be spent on things to help you. 4-seed, ready for this? From 1985 to the present, UNC has been a 4-seed or better 72.2% of the time until Hubert Davis.
That's wild.
With Hubert Davis, they were 20% of the time.
Yeah, once.
1 out of 5 or 26 out of 36, top 4-seed or better. It doesn't matter if it's a big name or a small name. The goal is to get back to 72% of the time being a top 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get bonus points for taking a coach from another top program, even though it probably does feed your ego a little bit. We're such a top job, we took Arizona's coach. Probably makes you feel good. Until it does or doesn't work, right? Then that's what actually feeds your ego or not, is whether it works or not. That's the part you got to get to. And I think too many people are focused on how it'll feel on hiring day than they are how will it feel in the middle of the recruiting season or in the middle of next season or in the middle of 10 years from now. And then you also have to worry about cash, which is always the thing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. Speaking of always having to worry about cash, it does stink, but when you buy a home, you think, hey, here's my monthly payment, we're good to go, right? We budgeted for it. But anyone that's ever actually owned a home knows you better budget in some of that, like, oh, remember when this broke? Oh, you got to check that warranty on this. Oh, that big appliance is going down. Oh, no. Listen, Manor Service Company understands that's life as a homeowner as well, and they just want to help you avoid it. That's what their maintenance schedules are for. That's what their service schedules are for. So they come out and check some of the big ticket items on your house. HVAC, right? Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, electrical. They want to make sure it's all running as well as it possibly can, get you on a maintenance schedule so you don't have those gigantic, oh no, I didn't budget for this expense. Manor Service Company is here to help. And then obviously if you do have one of those big, oh no moments, Manor Service Company wants to be there to help you as well. Do so as cost efficiently and with as quality of a work being done so you don't have to deal with it again. That was bad grammar from me. Trust me, they're better at it than I am talking right now. They're better at heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric than I am at stringing together words at the moment. So give them a call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at ManorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. The Dean's List is up next. We have a few auto entries to pass along to you. Stick around.
Listen up for big savings during Declaration of Deals Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get that 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie you've had your eye on while they're offering $14,500 off. Or pick your financing 0% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. John Heister's declaring Jeep deals too. Get $11,000 off a 2025 Jeep Wagoneer or over $12,000 off a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today. 919-205-9800. That's 919-205-9800.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. 5 seconds to go. Florida State trying to win it right here. And it's over. Duke survives it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to the Dean's List, but, this is a deja vu, very, very scary piece of news to pass along to you. Tiger Woods, one of the biggest golfing stars in the history of the sport, was involved, this according to NBCnews.com and many others reporting, was involved in a rollover car crash in Jupiter Island, Florida, which is where he lives. According to the Martin County Sheriff's officials, the crash occurred just after 2 p.m. today. The extent of any injuries to the 50-year-old professional golfer or if anyone else was involved is unknown at this time. Part of this reporting from tcpalm.com as well, which is a periodical down there in that part of Florida. I remember where I was in 2021. I was on air talking about whatever else was going on in the sports world, and there was breaking news that Tiger Woods had been involved in a rollover crash, and in that one he did suffer some pretty serious injuries. So we'll just hope that he and anyone else involved are okay. But obviously Tiger Woods is somebody that's dealt with his share of adversity when it comes to situations like this. But again, I'll give you the details as they are written on NBCnews.com. Golf superstar Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover car crash in Jupiter Island, Florida on Friday. That's today, according to authorities. The crash happened just after 2 p.m., so this is, less than 2 hours old. The Martin County Sheriff's Office said in a statement further details were not immediately available. If we hear anything, we will be sure to pass it along to you. Gosh. Again, I'm having a real, very tragic kind of deja vu going on right now. We will, we'll keep you updated, but we will continue with the show, and hopefully we have nothing but good news to update you on later on. With that being said, no easy transitions out of the more serious news to the sports stuff, but let's fire up the Dean's List. Dean's List. Dennis, I'm going to build off of one of yours from yesterday.
All right, go on.
Con Knipple.
Yeah.
So the Hornets won the big game last night against the Knicks, which was two of the hottest teams in the NBA. Hornets kind of jumped on them.
The Charlotte Hornets.
There you go. Con Knipple finished with 6 made threes, but on the third made three of the night, he cleared the 250 three-point makes on the season plateau. Mm-hmm. He is the only player aged 22 or younger in NBA history to reach 250 made three-pointers in a season.
That's impressive.
Not the biggest sample size in the world, but when you start hitting like the on pace to absolutely smoke Steph Curry's career shooting numbers, that's something to monitor. For my money, rookie of the year. But you had him on there yesterday for other reasons, but
yeah,
great game last night for the Hornets and another milestone for Con.
I had him on there for Cheez-Its.
Yeah, so, three-pointers, Cheez-Its, Rookie of the Years, it's got a lot going on.
All hand in hand.
More Dean's List. We have, as I said before the break, a couple of autos, right? When you're on a award watch list, you automatically, or you make a finalist or a semifinalist for an award, you're automatically on the Dean's List, and you're from a local school. Cameron Boozer, Duke freshman, is on the Naismith's Men's Basketball Player of the Year finalist. They've limited it to 4.
Okay.
It is Cameron Boozer, Darius Acuff Jr. of Arkansas. Dude's a stud.
Yep.
AJ Debanza of BYU. Guy's a stud. And Yaxel Landeborg of Michigan. Older guy, still a stud. And also John Shire. He is on the 2026 Warner Ladder Naismith Men's College Coach of the Year finalist list.
Which he probably should win.
There's 4 on that list as well. Shire, Dusty May from Michigan, Fred Hoiberg, that is, from Nebraska, and Tommy Lloyd from Arizona.
See, there it is.
Just keep boosting that cost. Those are the 4 for Coach of the Year on the Naismith Awards finalists. Good list to be on. And it's a shame, but when you coach at like a Duke, an Arizona, the big schools, the Blue Bloods, you don't get a lot of chances to win Coach of the Year because everybody just assumes anybody could coach at those schools and win, so they very rarely give you the credit. I guess one of those few might be if you lose all 5 starters to the NBA and you bounce back and have a better season, perhaps that's one of the few where people will give you the rightful deserved praise that Jon Scheyer is receiving.
By the way, just because you work for a name brand or coach in a name brand program doesn't mean success will follow you.
Absolutely not. Doesn't guarantee it.
Yeah. What's Indiana been up to?
I mean, we could go on. What's Carolina
been a minute
up
since
to?
Kentucky, Carolina.
There are quite a few examples of that, so shout out to those 2 finalists. Dennis, do you have some Dean's Listers you would like to throw out here?
I will throw one on there just because it's more of a sad thing. Mercyhurst, a Division I program, is actually cutting their men's hockey program, citing long-term viability and alignment with student demand. The women's team's not going to be affected, but it still stinks. They've won 3 national they've been in the NCAA tournament 3 times, all around the early 2000s, but nonetheless, they're cutting their program, which I think you are going to see some of these non-revenue generating sports because of revenue sharing and so on. You're going to see this a little bit more often. It just sucks that there's just one less hockey program out there for people to play at. So anyway, Mercyhurst men's hockey, you're on the Dean's List.
I was on Delaware's. I was going to Delaware when they cut their, I know they're wrestling because that's what the story's going to be. I think they may have cut the men's track program or men's indoor track or something at the same time. And it's for all the reasons that every other gets cut. And there were, I don't want to say it was protesting, but the wrestlers, rightfully so, voiced their displeasure quite a bit. And I remember one day the wrestlers all came and sat outside our locker room as we walked in. They were just saying some things, and I remember going gosh, the sadness in their eyes it was brutal because, they'd worked so hard and their careers at Delaware were just over, and I'm not sure they could all transfer away super easily. And, I was walking to practice, and it was just like, oh, man, this stinks. I feel bad for anyone that loses their sport. And then lastly, this will be my last Dean's Lister for the day. Michigan, UConn, Texas, and locally Duke.
Okay. Those
4 schools, you know what they have in common?
What's that?
Sweet 16 in both men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, look at that.
Those are the 4. I thought this was cool, right? Also, all different conferences.
That's a good point.
Right? So it's there's some diversification. It's not all the just, obviously UConn.
Big East, but not a superpower football conference. No.
Find a way to do it. Texas, deepest pockets in a long, long, long way, right? They just have a ton of money. Michigan, North, right? Cold, still getting it done. There's
very rich alumni base.
Very rich alumni base. Duke, rich alumni base. But all in the Sweet 16 on both sides. That's cool. The energy when that happens is just on campus, everybody's jacked up. So congrats.
Yeah, the Duke women actually play later on tonight against LSU.
That is late tonight, isn't it?
Late tonight.
You get a Duke doubleheader.
That's right, you do.
Make it happen. Obviously, if it's 4 teams from 4 different conferences, we're rooting for the ACC team and the local team to rep well. So win both. And that is the Dean's List here on The Drive. Dismissed. And that'll actually set up nicely for the conversation we're going to have in just a couple minutes. Duke's in the Sweet 16. They're taking on St. John's men's side. What goes into that game? Next.
When it comes to your roof, it's all about quality above with peace of mind below. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We're proud to be in our 20th year helping families and businesses keep the roof over their heads as economically as possible. We work on every type of roof, gutters, and skylights with quality repairs, maintenance, and replacements for your home, your business, and multifamily. We offer warranties with every new roof and financing options for homeowners, and we're now serving Southern Pines as well. Visit us to learn more at roofwerks.com.
We're here with Kevin from Fairway Green. Kevin, what should homeowners be doing with their lawns right now?
Yes, it's warming up nicely.
early, now's your last chance to control that summer crabgrass. And of course, the proper fertilizer, especially if you have warm season lawn, now's the time to do the right fertilizer for that. And of course, broadleaf weeds, they never stop. Great time to control them. And we use all the latest EPA tested and approved products on your lawn by licensed technicians.
Nothing beats a Fairway Green lawn. Request a free estimate at fairwaygreen.com or call 919-578-8955.
Hey, everybody. Paul Weihander once again from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. And right now, I said right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Repeating, $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Here's how it works. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout as we roll down to the round of 16, and you know right now, those low seeds, they are up popping for bigger payouts. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul, FanDuel.com/Paul, and sign up today. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you are serious about the weight loss journey, you have to give Raleigh Weight Loss Center a call. 919-897-7506 or swing by RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Here's the thing about Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and I was part of the program. I can speak from this firsthand. No shots, no injections, no drugs, no steroids, none of the nasty side effects. Just restarting your metabolism. That way your body can do the natural thing. They've helped thousands of people lose anywhere between 10 to 20% of their body weight. I lost 15% of my body weight, more than 15% of my body weight, over 40 pounds, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Again, give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up that free 15-minute phone call. I'm living, breathing, walking proof that the plan can work. First 50 callers get a $100 discount. 919-897-7506. Results may vary. Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. To update on the Tiger Woods situation, again, before the break, there were reports with very little details that Tiger Woods had been involved in a rollover car crash in Jupiter. That's down in Florida where he resides. Earlier this afternoon, about 2 p.m., just after 2 p.m., and that's according to the Martin County Sheriff's Office. This now comes from CBS 12, which is the local news affiliate down there. According to one of their sources at Martin County Fire Rescue, it was a 2-car crash. One vehicle was a rollover. One person is stable while another refused to go to the hospital. The Martin County Fire Rescue said there are no injuries to anyone. So I guess their source at Martin County Fire Rescue is saying one person is stable and the other is saying there are no injuries. Or maybe that's stable isn't considered an injury. But it does, I mean, it's more optimistic than having absolutely no information. But any rollover is fairly terrifying. So we'll keep you updated if more information becomes available. That all, by the way, coming from CBS 12. which again is down in that part of Florida. Now, also just to update you on, and this is again to much less serious news. Dennis, are you familiar with Kalshi? Kalshi? The like predictions market thing that's going on. You can. It's not betting. You can like play the stock market on anything. Kind of is how I view it.
It's kind of shady, but go on.
Okay. At 344, it is now 347. It appears as if in the market for NC State basketball next head coach, somebody placed a fairly sizable investment on Justin Gainey being the next head coach.
Okay.
Again, I don't completely understand Kalshi, whatever it's called. So, take all of this with a grain of salt. If you know it better than I do, go do the research.
It's a lot of insider trading going on.
But it appears as if there's about $15,000 bet on invested in the NC State next basketball coach market. And a sizable chunk of that came in within the last few minutes here, within the last 5 minutes, on Justin Gainey, which took him from 30% of the investment to up over 50% of the investment. If I were somebody that like friend of a friend of a friend, I guess is kind of how this goes, and you find out he's taken the job, you might run to Kalshi and try to make some money on that sort of deal. If you were a little bit, maybe shadier than you'd like to admit.
Like Will Wade.
Will Wade would be – he was the one betting. We should go check. Can you check the Kalshi LSU next head coach? And there's a gigantic bet placed from the NC State coach's office. I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't completely understand it, and I did not look up the NC State stuff or the LSU stuff. Either way, I just want to keep you updated on all of that. Now we can look to the basketball. And make no mistake about it, all of the drama around all these programs in college basketball is because they all want to be where Duke and St. John's and Arizona last night and all of these teams, Iowa, they all want to be where those teams are, which is still playing into the end of March. On 3, we talked about this yesterday, named 6 of the Sweet 16 teams to their $10+ million club. So they were looking at how much rosters made, like players made in total. And they did their best reporting that On3 could do to find out those numbers. And they have 6 out of the 16 Sweet 16 teams in the $10+ million club. So their players made $10 or more million. Duke and St. John's, who played tonight as a 1 seed and a 5 seed, are both in that top group. The other 4 teams, Arkansas, Houston, Michigan, and Texas. There's no ability to. There's no logical sense for anything of going like, oh, they're a 5 seed anymore. Once, like Texas is an 11 seed, but they got 8 figures out there on their basketball court. There is no overlooking. There is no Cinderella. It is more of a fair fight than you think. Now, here's another thing to give you that is maybe a little bit of a differentiator, even amongst those 6 teams that are 10 million plus. 11 of the Sweet 16 teams have at least 3 starters that began their career at the school they represent in the Sweet 16 or had represented last night in the Sweet 16. So 11 of the 16 had at least 3 starters that did not transfer to their school. They went to that school straight out of high school. Duke is one of those 11 out of 16. But I don't think it's just a Duke thing. I think it's a what is the best way to take advantage of the transfer portal era thing. Right, 11 of 16 is significant, especially with how many kids transfer nowadays. 11 of 16 is significant, and it tells me the ideal path to having one of the best teams when it matters most is recruit well, and that is not cheap. Recruit well, develop well. Right, once you get those players on campus, make sure they are getting better. And then fill in the roster gaps with transfers. That's plan A. Recruit well, develop well, fill in the roster gaps with transfers. 3 starters, 4 starters, guys that you've had your development fingerprints on for the entirety of their college career, and then 1, 2, couple guys off the bench from the transfer portal to fill in specific needs that your development guys didn't fill. Hey, we've got a pretty complete team, but we don't have a rim protector. Let's go find one. Hey, we've got a pretty complete team with these guys that we've recruited and developed, but we need more shooting. Let's go get one. That's the best way to do it. And if you don't have those roster holes, you don't have to go to the transfer portal. There's nothing that says you have to if you already have all the goods on your roster. So let's compare the 2 teams that are playing tonight, Duke and St. John's. Both very expensive rosters, right? They're both in that 10 million plus club from On 3. Duke's starting lineup goes like this, from where they started out of high school. I'll give you their we'll call it their school of origin. Their starting lineup goes Duke, and then Syracuse or Duke, depending on if Malik Brown or Patrick Gumbo gets the start. Duke heavy, right? They go to Duke out of high school.
Yeah, Malik Brown on this year's roster is the only guy that's a transfer, and he's in his second year there. They have no first-year transfers with the program this year that actually are part of their rotation.
Now let's compare that to St. John's starting lineup.
Oh, okay, yes, go on.
Washington State, University of Southern California, USC, Kentucky, Texas, Kansas. And their main bench players, Carolina, that's Jackson. There's a completely different way that they've gone about it. And both are expensive, right? Both cost a lot of money. Both of these teams are in the $10+ million club according to On 3. But Duke did so with even freshmen that just showed up. Like they're still, you're not using anyone else's development against them, right? You're not taking somebody that another coach had his hands on and figured out and got them playing their best basketball, and then you're reaping the fruits of that labor. You're bringing somebody in straight out of high school and playing them. And if you throw in Isaiah Evans, Patrick Gongba, if Caleb Foster plays tonight, which he is expected to play, those are guys that are multiple years have been with John Shire. Malik Brown, even though he's a transfer, multiple years with John Shire. St. John's has gone about it differently, and I think that could end up being one of the things that stands out tonight. Not talent, although I do think Duke is more talented. Also, I think St. John's has not spent their money the best, especially when it comes to offensive ability, and Duke's defense is very, very well known, is very, very good, so that's a matchup that I think falls in Duke's favor. But also, I think it's tough to just do the 1 year, everybody shows up, you got to get to know everybody and be good enough to hold up under pressure, right? If you start at the school and you're immediately indoctrinated into the culture of that school, I think when the pressure is the heaviest, when the pressure is the brightest, it's a little bit easier to handle. Not easy, don't get me wrong, it's still difficult, but a little bit easier. It's crazy how like if there's graphics you can find on social media, like here's where all of the starters in the Sweet 16 began their career. And it's like some school, like if you looked at St. John's, you wouldn't be able to guess it's St. John's unless you knew their roster super well. You'd be like, I don't know, that could be anybody because it's just they all started all over the place.
You actually look at the freshmen that are on the St. John's roster. I'm just looking through it right now. They have one freshman, Kelvin Odie, is from Providence, Rhode Island, but he's a freshman. But they have a freshman that's played high school basketball at Sunrise Christian Academy in Kansas, but is from Sweden. They have another guy that's from Greece. They have another guy that's from Portugal. They have a guy that's from Austria. I mean, all their freshmen are pretty much international guys, with the exception of one.
And then
everyone else is transfers.
And by the way, that's one way to do it. It's just 11 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams chose to do it differently. Or were able to do it differently. Sometimes you set out trying to do the let's develop guys within our system thing, and then it doesn't work, and you have to pivot. Or if there's a new coach, you might want to reset the roster. It's not all exactly apples to apples, but for the most part, if you want to be one of the last 16 teams standing, you want to have a good amount of your production coming from players you recruited out of high school. Just food for thought. And Duke obviously does that. They have everyone except for Malik Brown. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4 is up next. Dennis and I are going to put a 1 month-long prediction on wax. Get some receipts. Stick around.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them. See if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Ahead of a cold front, we could see record warmth this afternoon. Then as that front passes, a good chance for showers and a few storms late today into early Saturday. Once that front passes through the area, much cooler for the weekend, highs in the 50s and 60s.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 786 points to 45,173.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Taking a quick break from the college basketball talk to remind you that we are essentially a month away from the NFL draft.
4 weeks from yesterday is round 1.
So less than a month.
Yeah, less than a month. It's crazy to think. We got so much going on. It's like, oh, yeah, the draft.
Which, I mean, I absolutely love the draft, so I'm not surprised by it, but some of you might be. We are less than a month away from the last real opportunity outside of like very unpredictable and very difficult to pull off gigantic trades. The last real opportunity for your favorite NFL team to add a difference maker to their roster for this year, right? The biggest, most exciting free agents are pretty much already signed. So the draft becomes the next and perhaps the last chance to really shake something up with the top of the roster type talent. So I thought we'd test our abilities here, right? There's still a month to gather information, for insiders to leak things, for agents to do their best to spin why a 5 or a 4.5740 isn't going to hurt their client, right? The spin zone is still there for the next, whatever it is, 27 days. But right now, without that additional information, I want Dennis and I And you as well, if you want to jump into our YouTube live stream comments, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Go to our live stream. There's a full comment section below. Subscribe while you're there. We'd greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends about it. We'd greatly appreciate it. But the game is simple. March 27th, not February. March 27th, the 4 o'clock hour, the Football at 4 segment. Who are the Panthers taking with the 19th pick in the draft? And I will open it up to, if you want to be specific on a trade, you can be specific on a trade. If you think they're going up to get somebody, if you think they're going back, you have to say whether they're going up or down, how far they're going up or down. You don't have to give us, all of the it's going to cost a future second and but up, down, how far, and what player. If you're just picking a player, all you need to do is give a name. We're going to do our best to explain why we're going in the direction we're going. But if you just want to make a cold-blooded prediction, you can, and we'll see how smart or dumb we all are when the draft comes around. Okay? Does that sound fair? It's a little bit of a game. It's also a little bit of a talking it out on what we predict will happen. And last caveat. This is a prediction of what you think will happen, not a declaration of what you would like to see happen, unless it's also they align. Right?
Yeah.
You can say I'm predicting it, and I think, but it's a prediction.
I mean, there are wants that I know won't happen.
Well, that's interesting. What do you?
Oh, like I want them to move up and draft Sonny Styles, but that's not going to happen.
Why? Why don't you think it'll happen?
I think it's just going to cost too much. That's simply it's just going to cost too much.
If it's going to cost too much, definitely don't do it.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm talking like probably Sonny Styles is predicted by Sun to be like in the top 5. I'm like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to trade from 19 to 5.
I'd be surprised if he goes that high, but hey, unless they're drafting him as an edge rusher. Either way, I have mine locked in, so I'll just go ahead and lead off. This is a prediction on a few different counts. I think it's Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver.
Really? Wide receiver?
I'm predicting a fall for Tyson.
Okay. Go on.
He has not really worked out much at all since the draft for anybody because of a hamstring that actually ate into his last season. He's a bit older than you'd love to have at a wide receiver spot. Not a ton, but a bit. And even if you were to measure in and do all the runnings and everything, I'm not sure that's the elite part of his game. So a guy who right after the season was being predicted as like a slam dunk top 6 to 10 pick in the draft, I think will be there at 19 because during just this rising and falling period postseason, some guys have tested well, some guys have just tested, and teams like to see that. The Carnell Tates of the world, the perhaps even a Mekhi Lemon, and a Denzel Boston, maybe a Casey Concepcion. Some of these wide receivers could jump him, which would feel like a gigantic slide for Tyson on draft day. And then the Panthers side of it is their offense needs help. Their offense needs help. It was not good this year, even though it was at times opportunistic, right? Where, hey, if we only have one good drive, let's make sure we time it well enough to get the win. Or hey, every 5th week we put together a really good offensive performance. The offense overall was not great. So if there's a player who falls that they have a higher grade on at a position where, even though I do think they have some talent, Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker, I like John Mechie as a depth piece, you can play 3-4 of them at a time. So it's not like, you're drafting somebody to go on the shelf. I don't think they'll be able to pass it up. And you're going to end up with Jordan Tyson at 19. That is my prediction. It is a prediction on a tumble from Tyson, and Carolina can't pass up a deal. They take the maybe a little dented can special, get their 12th guy on the board at 19.
Interesting. I never thought about possibly him even being there.
There's been, and I'm very nerdy in the draft world, there's been a little groundswell for anti-Tyson sentiment out there, which I think is like, so you're telling me when you watched him play football, you loved him, and then as soon as you started judging the stuff that's not watching him play football, he tumbled? I think I'll be okay taking that chance. Like, I like the guys that look good playing football.
All right, I'm going to go off the wall. I'm going to go a little bit off the wall here on this one, Tim. I think they go Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon.
That's one of the options, and I'll build off of what you say after you explain it.
I think because what that allows the defense to actually have is a true deep free safety that can be incubated by the fact that he's got good corners on the outside and he's got a strong safety in Trayvon Merrick as well. So you can be incubated a little bit in the sense of he doesn't have to do a whole lot right away, so you can develop him but still play right away and still have some form and fashion of being out there on the field. He has the size, the speed, and also he's just a ball hawk safety, a guy that can get his hands on the ball, which is what they desperately need to even add on top of the defense of what they've already added this offseason. Plus, if you look at in a couple of years when Trayvon Merrick's contract is up, who's the logical replacement for Trayvon Merrick? It's actually Lathan Ransom, who can actually play up towards the box and be that position. And then you can have Thieneman playing back there. So you have two young safeties that can grow together. And Lathan Ransom in a couple of years, if he does develop into a starter after Trayvon Merrick's contract is up, then guess what? He's probably not going to cost you a whole lot to keep him. Now you have a pretty cost-controlled duo of safety, which will allow you to still pay other premium positions. So I think Thieneman will actually do a pretty good pick at number 19.
Now, here's my relationship with Thieneman.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Oregon games, right? Casually as a fan, not a ton of them, but when they were the big game, I watched. Do not have a ton of obvious memories of that guy's a star. But at the Combine, he lit it the heck up. He is a smaller safety, okay? So he's just barely over 6 feet, just barely over 200 pounds.
He's 6 foot 201 is what he weighed in at.
Yep, 6 foot and 1/8.
Oh, yeah, that makes a difference.
And 201 pounds. But his vertical is 41 inches. His broad is over 10 feet, which is good enough, 10 feet, 5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
His 40, this is all at the Combine, so this is the official laser time stuff.
Yep.
4.35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very impressive. So with the knocks on his overall athleticism being size, he's still an RAS score, relative athletic score, which takes all of that into account. Out of the 1,242 strong safeties at the Combine and at Pro Days going back since 1987, he finished 42nd in relative athletic score, which would have been much higher if he were 6'2", 210.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 6 foot and 1/8, 201, which is going to knock him down a bit. Both of those are very middle of the pack for strong safeties since 87.
I think he also has some versatility. You can move him around in different spots. But the fact that in 3 seasons he had over 300 tackles and 8 interceptions in 3 seasons of college football, that's a lot of production.
4.35 plays anywhere in the secondary.
Yeah.
That's catch-up speed. That's not speed. That's recovery speed, which builds off this next point, right? In my preparation for this, and I go to this more around draft time where it's a little bit more accurate, but ESPN Analytics puts out a draft day predictor. It's all numbers based, but they try to give you a percentage chance of each player drafted at each pick. You can go find whatever pick in the draft you want, or whatever team, or also you can go reverse and go by player and find out their percentage chance to go at each pick. The number one player as far as percentage-wise for Carolina at pick 19 is, to be fair, just over 9%. So they don't have an overwhelming favorite. But they have a just over 9% chance that Kenyon Sadiq is the pick, the tight end from Oregon, one of Thieneman's friends, or at least his teammates. I don't know if they're friends. Do you know who's the second?
Who's that?
Ty Simpson.
What?
Yeah.
To Carolina at 19?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
6.5%, a little over.
Now, I could see Ty Simpson getting drafted at 19 if somebody moves up to draft him.
Oh, that's
if
true.
someone makes
I guess
a trade.
That's actually not a bad point. You're right. It does not say chance to be taken by Carolina. It's chance to be taken at pick 19. So good point there. Way to correct me. Next up, very similar percentages would be Akeem Mesidor, the older but impressive edge rusher from the Miami Hurricanes, and then Thieneman. There's your guy. Jordan Tyson is way back. He's 8th or 9th most likely. There's some offensive tackles. There's some safeties. There's a whole bunch of guys that are possible there. But our picks are on wax, as I say. They have receipts. Dennis is going with
Dylan Theneman,
There you go.
safety out of Oregon.
I just wanted you to say. And
okay.
I am going with Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. If you have a pick and you want to put it on wax essentially a month before the draft, which would be a very impressive called shot, right? That's a very impressive prediction if you get it right. You can go to 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, jump into our live stream comments, and leave your predictions there. And that is football at 4. We will be getting back to the college basketball of it all in a second, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Last chance I have to tell you, folks. The last chance I get to tell you, you got to go to caniacsbike.com because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Simple to enter. You go to caniacsbike.com, but you're running out of time because the deadline to enter, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. Sunday, folks. Sunday. Enter by Sunday to win this beautiful Ducati V4 motorcycle. V4 Ducati. I've seen it in person multiple times. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't tell you enough how awesome it is. I can't win the bike. You can. If you want to see pictures of the bike, just head over to caniacsbike.com. It literally takes you about a minute to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Bike will be given away live on the ice April 4th, which is a week away from tomorrow, and it includes tickets into a catered suite as well. Again, swing over to caniacsbike.com, enter for your chance to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. NC State. Will Wade did you dirty. But as I said yesterday, I think it's a blessing in disguise. He wasn't right for you, and I'll tell you why next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Talk about stepping up! Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt free. Loan Pronto, A+ rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax-free edition only. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is taxes.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
Intuit TurboTax Free Edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, Student Loan Interest, and Schedule 1A.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So because I was curious and I brought up those Kalshi prediction market numbers for the NC State men's basketball coach search, which have remained pretty much stagnant since that influx of, do you call it investment? That money dropped on Justin Gainey to be the next head coach back at 344. But I did venture on over to the Carolina side of it. North Carolina basketball next head coach today alone, since 4 o'clock, the favorite has changed back and forth between Billy Donovan and Tommy Lloyd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times since 4:15, we'll call it. And right now it stands with Billy Donovan 33% chance, Tommy Lloyd 31% chance, and the total volume, according to Kalshi, and again, I don't completely understand Kalshi, so I'm just passing along what I'm reading on my screen, just under $1 million of volume. $993,000, $993,935 of volume. Billy Donovan, Tommy Lloyd appear to be the overwhelming favorites. Byington, McCollum, Oates, Patino, Dusty May are all kind of in that next group.
I don't see Patino happening, let's be honest.
I don't see many of those happening, but that's what Kalshi has as their investment board. Prediction market, I think is the way they call it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk about NC State's former coach, Will Wade. NC State's former coach, Will Wade. There are two facts. One, a quote from Will Wade or a nickname coined by Will Wade, and one, a fact about his tenure as the one-year head coach at NC State that as a just competitive person frustrate the absolute heck out of me. When Will Wade took the job to be NC State's next head men's basketball coach, he talked about the bully neighbors. That was his term. We know we have these bully neighbors. And he was talking about Duke and he was talking about Carolina. Now that is, in and of itself, nothing wrong with it, right? Like, if you're taking a job, you have to understand the landscape and understand that, those two teams have each 3+ national championships this century, and NC State had none. So there, it's not like I was going, oh gosh, he's kowtowing. No, I went and he understands and he's setting the stage for what he wants to do. He left to go to LSU before ever coaching a game at Duke or at UNC. Never coached at Cameron Indoor or the Dean Dome. As a competitive person, I could not talk about bully neighbors and leave without getting a chance to test myself. I couldn't take an NC State job with the posturing that Will Wade did and leave not only without accomplishing the goal, but without ever really trying. You got smoked by Duke in your only game, and you beat Carolina. Don't get me wrong, it's a win. But you have to understand that Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar didn't play in that game. It certainly seems as if Will Wade took the NC State job with an eye on the LSU job, don't get me wrong, right? An eye on whatever he thinks are greener pastures, don't get me wrong. But also we took the NC State job with a little lack of respect for how difficult it would be to find a competitive advantage in the triangle. Right? Where's he had his success? It's been LSU, it's been VCU, it's been McNeese. Right? He's had success at these places, and he probably thought, I'm going to do the things I did there. Right? LSU, he's going to do the things he did to get an advantage on Georgia. Or he's going to do the things that he did to get an advantage on name your SEC team, right? Mississippi State. And that would give him the advantage on, say, Duke or Carolina. And it didn't happen. And running away, right? There's this the NC's it's not for soft people, right? The Wolfpack's not for soft people. And there's an energy that has to come for NC State. And he pretended he had it. Will Wade is the friend. And I don't even know it's a friend. He's the person that tells you about all of the fights he's been in or all of the black belts and purple belts that he has from his taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu master class. He spars against amateur fighters, and then you see him get into a fight, and you're like, oh, you've never fought a day in your life, have you? Right? He talks this big game because he's maybe new in town. And you're like, whoa. Then he gets popped in the face and he starts crying, and you're like, "Oh, so you were lying? I got you. I thought you were tough."
Oh yeah, he got humbled at home against Duke.
Yeah, exactly.
Humbled.
There was shout out to Juicebox. Listen to this story. When I was in college, or not in college, sorry, high school, we got a transfer, and he sold our head coach the bill of goods, right? His family moved to the area, and our coach, before we even met the kid, now he started, 36 games up there in New York, just outside New York City, where they play some real tough football, and he broke a kid's arm, and he's going to be the toughness we're looking for. He goes by the name, and ready for this, he took it all the way from Little Giants. He told us up there his coaches call him Icebox. I was like, really? Icebox? And our coach was old school, right? So he was giving us the, he chews glass and he spits out nails. And it's like, all right. Kid showed up. We were like, all right, let's see what you got. First day of practice, it was like, oh, you've never played on a high school field. You might not have ever played ever, right? You sold coach a bill of goods. So for the rest of it, 2 years there that he was with us in the program, we called him Juicebox instead of Icebox because that's how it was. Will Wade has some Juicebox tendencies. We're going to go after those bully neighbors. We're going to do this. We're going to chase them down. We're going to do this. We're going to chew up glass and spit out nails. And then he left and ran away to LSU. Oh, Juicebox. What's going on, my man? Which leads us to the coaching search for NC State. And something that I think you need to have a better gauge on, right? Obviously, you've heard Boo Corrigan, the athletic director, talking about, the lies that they were sold about Will Wade and the disappointment and the disrespect felt by some of the lies told by Will Wade. I think you also need to just have a better radar for somebody that actually wants to be in the fight. You need someone that isn't all talk. You need someone that smiles when they fight. You need someone that is not only interested in talking the game, but wants to chop down redwoods in the triangle. Right? They show up with a sharp axe. And even if you take the Will Wade situation and you put the most heavy positive spin zone on Will Wade, okay? This is a thought exercise. It's not actually what I'm doing, right? I think he's a slime ball, and I think he handled things with a lack of honor at darn near every step. But if you go in and put the positive spin on it, which is coaches take new jobs all the time, this place is home for him, they're going to give him significantly more resources. That's an issue. Running to more resources is a sign that you could never work at NC State. Running to more resources, screaming about what they didn't give you, saying, I need this, I need that, is proof that you would never work at NC State. I'm going to let a dirty little secret here. You're never going to outspend Duke and Carolina basketball. So if you need to have more resources to win, you're never going to get it there. You need somebody that's excited to find a way with less resources to chop down those redwoods. You need somebody that is excited to not have what do they have now? Like when boxers are training, they have like the heart rate monitors and they have the mask to get you extra oxygen. You need to be excited to go full Rocky and throw a log on your back and go run up a hill in the snow and say, we're going to be more prepared anyway. We don't need the most expensive training. We don't need the most technologically everything. We don't need the recruits that are demanding $3 million. $4 million, $5 million. You need somebody that wants to be in the fight. You need somebody that's not afraid of it. You can go look at like the Jim Valvanos, right? Jim Valvano, he's been mythologized, whatever that word is. He's been turned into a legend. But even if you go back to in that moment, I don't know if there's been a guy who's more, he smiles in a fight as a college basketball coach where, yeah, cards stacked against him, sure, whatever. Watch this. Right? Oh, you got something nicer than me? Cool. Watch me beat you with less. That's the attitude you need. And the funny part is, State's not like the poorhouse. You know what I mean? Like in college basketball,
far from it.
They're not this tiny little ragtag group, but they do kind of have tiny little ragtag group energy because of who their neighbors are.
Oh yeah.
And you need that energy, and Will Wade didn't have it. Will Wade is the kid who, when he goes 0 for 4, he goes to his parents and says, I need another $450 bat.
Yeah. Need new gloves.
Because the kid that went 5 for 5 had a blue bat, and he had a red bat, and it's the color's fault, so go buy him the $450 blue bat. You need somebody who's like, oh, what brand is my bat? I don't know, gray? I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It's Coach brought it. I got it out of the burlap sack he brings, and I just went 3 for 4. And I bowled over the second baseman because he was crowding the bag as I rounded for third. That's what you need. And I do think you can tell that about people. I do think when you interview somebody, you can tell it. You have that feeling in your gut. It's actually one of the regrets I have about how the Will Wade situation went.
How so?
I had bad feelings about him. And I didn't bring him up because part of that's unfair, like as a media member, to say, like, I don't know, something's not sitting right when you don't have, like, a tangible reason for it, right? But when I interviewed him, I would leave going like, it just didn't seem like a good dude. There's been coaches I disagree with on darn near every coaching decision they make. But when I talk to him, I'm like, hey, that's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, that's somebody who at least is trying their best. I disagree with their play calling, but that is what it is. Then there's coaches, like, I didn't get the feeling he was a good dude. And the regret that I have is that at no point in time did I vocalize it. So I don't have those receipts. So I can't, now it feels very 20/20 hindsight. So I'm not asking for any kind of credit on it. But I didn't have, a reason to say it, and I didn't want to slander a guy for nothing. Turns out that gut feeling was right. Now that probably, I'm not going to learn from that. I'm not going to now have some gut feeling that a dude is not great and run to my radio show and say, that guy's a bad guy, with absolutely no tangible evidence on why. But if I were interviewing, right, if I were somebody that was in the hiring process and I had that gut feeling that I don't know if he's up for the fight that we're going to need from him, and I put that away because, well, I don't really have a reason to think that, the next time I might listen to that little voice a little more. I think you can tell. I think some people can tell. I don't know if everyone can. But if you're a more like socially aware person, I think when you meet somebody, you know if they're on the tougher side or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the more important things in being an NC State men's basketball coach. You can't be an excuse maker and be the NC State men's basketball coach. You can't be in the post-game presser bashing your team for not being tough enough without acknowledging they're built in your image.
Yeah, you clearly weren't tough enough to stick it out. Hey, even our YouTube live chat, this one comes from Chris P. Says, dude is a bum and I'm a Heels fan. And he also said, let's be honest, Will Wade would not survive in those tough arenas, like going to Cameron or going to the Dean Dome. Yeah, he clearly not.
He would, I'll tell you exactly what would happen. He would lose. He would feel bad about it. He would blame his players in the postgame.
Yeah.
And that would be it. Which leads me to a quick bit of sound here. Corey Lavalette asked the question, so shout out to him. Rod Brindamore is obviously somebody that has fit in Raleigh. He is also somebody who, he's chosen State as his allegiance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Through some family connections, and, he wears the hats, right? He wears the State hat. So they put out did you see the Canes Twitter?
No, I didn't.
They put a picture of Rod Brindamore staring down the barrel of the camera. just looking like the toughest the toughest coach you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And the caption said something like, built for Raleigh or something like that, with all of the subtext being that guy wasn't built for Raleigh.
Oh, did you see what NC State football did on Instagram?
No.
Because of spring practice and all that going on, they had a carousel of different photos, and the song they chose was "Loyalty" by Kendrick Lamar. I
don't hate the move.
I was like, you know what? I'm all for the pettiness, people. I'm for it.
I don't hate the move. So with that, I started thinking, it's probably a pretty good litmus test for the next NC State men's basketball coach to think, would Rod be buddies with him? Would Rod Brindamore hang out with this guy? And if the answer is no, they probably aren't going to fit. And it's no different than what you do with recruiting trips in college, where it's during the day you're going to be talking to coach, you're going to be talking about strategies and where you fit into the program and if they think you're going to redshirt or not. But then at night, I need you to go hang with the dudes. Right? I need you to go hang with the offensive line. I need you to go out to eat. I need you to laugh with them, joke with them. And then the next day, the coach is going to go to his guys and say, does he fit in with us? I almost wish part of the head coach interview for NC State men's basketball could be all right, you're going to get Elliott from the baseball program. You're going to get Rod from the Canes. You're going to get a few guys together. And I just need you to sit around a bonfire and have a couple drinks. And then we're going to ask those guys if you fit in. Because that's what you need. You need somebody that fits in at that bonfire. So Rod Brindamore was asked, again, shout out to Corey Lavalette for asking the questions, what he wants NC State to have in their next coach.
I know the program pretty well. I didn't know Will. I got a good relationship with Boo. I got a good relationship with Coach Avent. He's a great family friend. They need to hire a guy like Coach Avent. That's what you need to do. Guy that gets it. Guy that's a good people person. That's, he's in it for the right reasons. That's what they need to hire.
More from that same conversation about how college athletics is different, and you'll hear the whole interaction here. Here's Rod Brindamore.
In today's college atmosphere, I don't know, it's different. There's no loyalty anymore, and that's clearly. I mean, it'd be nice if you get that feeling back. That's what was so great about college. It's you go to a school and you're a part of it forever. And what are we doing? And this is a prime example. I mean, maybe I'm sure there's a guy out there that still has that attachment to the place. I think that would be a start. If we want these kids to stick around and do how do you? I don't know. It just blows my mind that that's how that all went down. But I think he did them a favor.
I think he did too. Would Rod Brindamore hang out with this person is a good litmus test for NC State coaches of every sport. If the answer is yes, there's a good chance they're going to fight the fight the way you want them to. And if the answer is no, there's a good chance that they're going to be in LSU in 9 months. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's take a couple minutes here to look at some of the games from last night and how they might impact some of the decisions being made. First of all, I thought it was actually a pretty fun night of college basketball for those of us that didn't really have, outside of our, we want our brackets to do well, but a horse in the race. There's a little bit of everything. If you watched the Arizona-Arkansas game and the Illinois-Houston game, are these the same rules? Houston scores 1 point every 75 minutes, it felt like. Meanwhile, Arizona, every time down, was just bullying their way to the bucket and scoring again and scoring again and dunking again and dunking again. And I mean, let me make sure I get this right. Houston scored 55 points total in their loss to Illinois. They lost 65-55. Arizona scored 55 points in the second half against Arkansas. And that's the beauty of college basketball. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just, did you score more points than the other team? Right? You can, and I'm not saying Houston did right? They lost the game. But you can muddy up a game, slow it down, and turn it into a rock fight, or you can get up and down and try to run and try to score 109 like Arizona. Now, the interesting part is if you choose a way that Carolina wants to play, right, part of their DNA is they get up and down, right? Part of their DNA is they get athletes and they like to run. So if you're looking for a coach and you want to score, and one of the two betting favorites to be your next head coach is leading a 1 seed that absolutely lights up a John Calipari team for 109 points to punch their ticket into the Elite Eight. That sounds like a pretty good little statement made by Tommy Lloyd if he does have interest in the Carolina job. He's the coach of Arizona, obviously. And he is, I'm calling him a family friend of the Carolina family, because Roy Williams and Mark Few, the coach of Gonzaga, are very, very good friends. They're like good coaching friends. Tommy Lloyd is a longtime assistant of Mark Few and kind of the protege of Mark Few. So it's like, the way I described it yesterday is in coaching family terms, Tommy Lloyd calls Roy Uncle Roy.
Yeah, and I think you were saying there that the fact that people wanted Mark Few possibly to replace Roy Williams.
Correct. And some might still want him to take the leap this time. But Tommy Lloyd just made a pretty good statement is what I'm getting at. Now, I don't know if Tommy Lloyd would be my choice, but I do know that with every dominant win in the tournament, his price is going up. And I do know that with every win in the tournament, he's not available for at least a couple more days. Because no matter how great the North Carolina job is, and I think it's one of the best in the country, you're not giving up an Elite Eight team. You're not distracting yourself from an Elite Eight run or beyond with one of the top seeds in the tournament at a school like Arizona for any job. So if Arizona, which, by the way, on Saturday will play Purdue for a spot in the Final Four, if they beat Purdue, does that make Carolina want Tommy Lloyd more? Or does that make them want Tommy Lloyd less because it means another week he won't be available? At least another week. He might even want to go celebrate a little bit, right? Take a couple days. It's a very, I would say, tricky situation. Because, I get that you don't want to wait a week. Matter of fact, I would say, it's imperative if you can avoid it, you don't want to wait a week because, the portal opens April 7th, I believe is the day.
Yeah.
And you need to not just be figuring it out. You need to have your plan in place, know your budget, do some fundraising before you get to the portal opening up, right? So every day is important. But at the same time, 10 years from now, looking back, are you going to care whether you got your guy there a week earlier or are you going to care about if you got the right guy? All questions that Carolina has to answer, and they're not easy, right? There's very, very few, no pun intended, Mark Few. There's very, very few examples in history of what they're trying to do, right? Because if you say there's if we're being generous, there's 10 blue bloods. If we're being generous, 10 blue bloods. Carolina's definitely one of them. Those jobs don't open up every year, so we'll say every decade there's 30 opportunities for a blue blood to hire a coach. If you say 50% of them are going to a family member, quote unquote, right, going to an assistant being promoted or an obvious next guy, you're down to just a few examples over every decade. There's no blueprint for this. And then Tommy Lloyd is making it either easier or more complicated depending on who you ask. Billy Donovan is sitting there. Is he going to wait around or do you got to make that move? Is there someone else that's going to get into the running? I'm just using those two because they seem to be the betting favorites according to the sports books. I've made my point. I think if I were in those situations, if I were either NC State or Carolina, I'd go further, cheaper option, up-and-coming option, and give them more money on the roster. And I'll explain more of why coming up during our Real Bold predictions in a second. But first, text keyword BULLS, BULLS, to 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Durham Bulls opening night in the Fan Zone on March 31st. We'll be there doing a show live, and we want you to stop by and have tickets to get in. Bulls, that's the key word, BULLS. Text it to 919-860-5326, and you just might win a 4-pack of tickets to Durham Bulls opening night.
By the way, their season starts today. They're on the road for a couple games, but their home opener is obviously on the 31st. We will be there, but their season starts today.
I was at opening practice for 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds baseball last night after the
pitchers and catchers reported?
Pitchers and catchers reported. You might be able to call it that. I think at one point I saw like 13 infielders. So they all reported straight to the infield for batting practice.
Is it T-ball or coach pitch?
It's T-ball.
T-ball?
T-ball, and gets a little long sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Some kids up there just swinging away, not anywhere close to the tee. But it was fun, and it's, awesome and all that stuff. Youth sports are great. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Real bold predictions with a coaching search kind of slant coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
For teams who missed the tournament or took early losses, the time to reflect ended the morning after. The business of player retention is now key for your program, and the playing field is more level than it ever was as revenue shares in place. Your coach's pitch now focuses on when do we get our next championship, because that's the only currency your fan base cares about.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them. See if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. People are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $15,000 off a new 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 RST. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Friday. I think we are getting some optimistic news involving the Tiger Woods crash that we reported on earlier, that we passed along earlier.
Fill people in on the details of that, by the way.
I will give you from the beginning. So Tiger Woods, according to multiple news sources, was involved in a car rollover accident earlier today, just after 2 p.m. In Jupiter, Florida, which is where he lives. And for, I would say, most of the next hour after we heard that he was involved in the accident, there were very few details. Didn't know if anyone else was involved, didn't know the status of any injuries that were or were not happening. Some details are starting to trickle out. The New York Post has a image of the car. It's a Range Rover. They are calling it his Range Rover. On its side, on the side of the road, looks like the potential for a very dangerous accident. There is a TMZ report. So again, I guess consider all these sources, but TMZ report that a witness saw Tiger after the accident and said he looked okay and that there were no major injuries, but that's a witness to TMZ. Still waiting on maybe a full report from a more national or one of the local news reports down there. But again, appears to be optimistic news trickling out. That's what we know at the moment. And if we hear more, we will pass that along to you. But obviously, Tiger Woods' long history of car, or at least a significant history of car accidents, including the rollover in 2021 that really took a toll on him and required many surgeries and everything else. He just started playing again in the TGL, which is his little digital golf league. And reports were he was gearing up for a Masters run in a couple of weeks, but obviously this could throw a wrench in all of that.
Do you like that TGL thing? The golf league, whatever it is?
I'm a golf nerd. I have not watched like the full broadcast of it, but occasionally a clip comes on my social media, and for 30 seconds it's like, okay. But it's not my cup of tea as far as long form. I like watching golf tournaments, and I do it quite often, and if I were to ask for another night of TV control to watch digital, what appears to be video game golf, I'm not sure it would go over well in my household. Because I watch enough, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday golf.
It's weird because they do like the Florida whomever versus. I was like, y'all got hometowns? What's going on here?
Oh, we can do this real quick. I do think team golf, Liv has tried and whatever. TGL has tried and whatever. I think team golf on the PGA Tour is part of the future. I've mentioned this before. I think they should go F1.
Okay.
Manufacturers Cup. Where like Nike has a team, TaylorMade has a team,
Callaway,
Titleist has a team, and it's like the 4 or 5 best golfers signed, and you could have like Titleist 2, right? And it would be huge in the offseason to be like, Justin Thomas. He just took a huge offer from TaylorMade. He's leaving Titleist to go to the TaylorMade team where he'll get to be the, in the one spot and blah, 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 blah. I think that's going to happen eventually, but not right. You still compete individually like the racers do, the drivers do, but then there's the Manufacturers Cup as well. I think it's coming. Either way.
Like they do like groupings based on, pairings?
Yeah,
and that kind of
there would be certain events that are more team-oriented than others. Majors, nothing would change other than it would be like high school cross country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you count the top 5 scores from each team, and those are the ones that matter. But that's a bigger conversation for the offseason. We don't have time for that now because there's 2 coaching openings in the Triangle, the Sweet 16 tonight, the Canes play tomorrow, the draft in the NFL is less than a month away, and right now it's time for real bold predictions. There you go. So we're doing it a little differently today. I will be the bell and the buzzer for Dennis. Dennis will be the bell and the buzzer for me.
Okay.
We have to come up with a name who is outside the box, a quote-unquote bold prediction for each of NC State and UNC's coaching options or coaching openings. Can't be somebody who's like a betting favorite, right? Has to be somebody a little outside the box that you can actually make an argument for being a good hire for those individual teams. Dennis, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
And by the way, I don't have the cool buttons and everything, so for bell, it'll be ding, ding, ding. And for buzzer, it will be because I have to use a microphone.
So for North Carolina, talk about real bold prediction for the next men's basketball coach, Matt Painter, Purdue.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, Matt Painter of Purdue. By the way, played at Purdue for 4 years. You want to talk about like Purdue lifer.
Yeah.
That's what this guy has been. But you look at the success, though. Sweet 16 last year, obviously actually on to the Elite 8 now, at least this season. National runner-up a couple years ago when NC State made the Final Four. Multiple Sweet 16s, Elite 8s. I'm telling you, The guy doing it in the Big Ten. Imagine if he had Carolina resources behind him as well. I'm just saying.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It reminds me of a football move. Somebody was at like their alma mater and had been there a long time and moved to a like, hey, I love my alma mater, but I'm going for it kind of spot.
Is that Kalen DeBoer?
Maybe. It's going to annoy the heck out of me. When it comes to me, I'll let you know. But that reminds me of a where it's like, listen, I love my alma mater. I'd be comfortable staying here, but at the end of my career, I want to know if I could have done it at one of the schools with the resources. And they go. And it's like it's not seen as negative by anybody. Everybody involved is like, no, go. Like, spread your wings. We'll cheer you on. It's going to annoy the heck out of me.
I'll tell you my other name in a second after you give yours.
Okay, we're doing Carolina first?
Yeah, let's do Carolina first.
Fire up that bell.
Oh, okay.
Chris Paul.
Okay, there you go. That actually would be a pretty bold move.
Yes, I don't think he's going to go far from basketball.
No.
He does have a son that's like class 2027 or 2028. Listen to the mic'd ups of him in the NBA where he argues with refs about rules. Like, he is as detailed and maniacal about basketball as anybody. So he doesn't have the experience. He'll figure it out. He doesn't have the recruiting. He'll figure it out. And on top of that, I don't think Wake Forest has the resources to draw him out, but it's nearby. I'm just saying, I think he has unbelievable basketball mind and ability to pass it on written all over him. And I always say the best former players as coaches are not the ones that were physically dominant, because they can't, like, if LeBron were to become a coach, he would just say, like, all right, once you get the ball in this situation, jump from the free throw line and dunk it on their heads. And everyone's going to look at him like, yeah, why didn't I think of that? But if you're Chris Paul, you're undersized. You aren't a crazy dunker. You're not an unbelievable speed, quickness. You're quick, don't get me wrong. But you're not like a unbelievable specimen of an athlete. You're just an unbelievable basketball player. And so when he says, like, here's what you got to do, everyone's like, all right, I can do that. Not as well as you, but physically I can do that. So I think Chris Paul would be a wild hire.
By the way, he has his AAU program. Chris Paul does?
Right, yes.
Here's a list of names that are guys that are active in the NBA who play for Chris Paul's AAU program. Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr., Rob Dillingham, Gigi Jackson, Wendell Carter Jr. and Wendell Moore Jr., Colin Sexton, Hunter Tyson, Grant Williams. I think there's a few other guys, but he has a pipeline of dudes.
Knows, connected to the area, knows the state of North Carolina.
Okay,
it's outside the beaten path. All right, let's go to the state side of things.
All right, NC State, real bold prediction, Tim, about who their next head coach is going to be. Steve Forbes, Wake Forest.
Ding, ding, ding.
Steve Forbes, Wake Forest. Because obviously he knows the landscape of the ACC.
Because Chris Paul is taking his job at Wake Forest.
Of course. But he doesn't have the resources at Wake Forest that he's going to get at NC State. I think he is actually truly is a good basketball coach. Just not this season, but last season, the previous season, 2025, he finished 4th in the ACC and has been on the cusp of being an NCAA tournament team. I think if he actually does truly get the resources of what NC State can bring as opposed to Wake Forest, I think he could do well there. I genuinely think he do. And I think he would go to NC State knowing that he could retire there if he does well.
He does have some of that, like, I'm here for the fight attitude.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like the blue collar attitude that State needs. Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Again, outside the box.
Probably would have been a better idea like 3 or 4 years ago. I think the maybe plateauing of Wake has soured his star. Not because I think he's a worse coach, just because, vibes matter. Mine for NC State. Bold prediction, who could be their next coach? Nolan Smith. He is the head coach and conference coach of the year at Tennessee State this year.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe there's a few different HBCU coach of the years this year as well. I don't want to be too much of a copycat league. He essentially has the exact same training as John Shire. Played under Coach K, won a national championship, bounced around the NBA, played overseas, 6 years as Coach K's one of Coach K's assistants. Now he has a couple bona fides as a head coach at Tennessee State.
Was an assistant at Louisville for a couple years as well.
Was an assistant at Louisville for a couple years. I think you don't have to worry about an alma mater poaching him away because John Shire's not going anywhere for Duke.
Unless he wants to.
Yeah. And even then, like I look at it and I think Nolan Smith's a pretty solid rising name in the sport. And if you were to go kind of, cross, and I'll use this as my last example. If you go to a Duke game, a bunch of them, they honor like former players and coaches that are in attendance. Bucky Waters, former coach, he's honored a lot. But if you go to an NC State game, they honor like former players, former coaches. Bucky Waters is honored a lot because Bucky played at NC State, then ended up being the coach at Duke. So why can't you have a player that played at Duke end up being the coach at NC State?
By the way, these are real bold predictions, not what we truly think is going to happen.
No, but I don't think they're bad options.
They're not terrible.
I think it's the reason why I wanted to do this is because sometimes I think like the first three names you hear it's where like everybody stops, right? Like when NC State opens up, you go like Justin Gainey, Josh Schertz, and it's just like, there you go. And then everybody just debates between those two when in reality, the options are limitless, right? And same thing with Carolina, right? So once you heard Tommy Lloyd, Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, like nobody went further than that. You can go a million different directions with that job, which is why this exercise took place. That's it for Real Bold Predictions. Next week, we will get back to more traditional Real Bold Predictions, but a little fun coaching opening one. With that being said, we'll take a quick break, and the starting five is up next.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check him out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Cameron Boozer. Put it off the window! Count it in a foul!
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Kamba blocks it. What a rejection.
Oh, my goodness.
The lob! Brown hangs from the rim, and the lead grows to 22.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan. Driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Wake Med, Fairway Green, and Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry.
Listen up for big savings during Declaration of Deals Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get that 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie you've had your eye on while they're offering $14,500 off. Or pick your financing 0% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. John Heister's declaring Jeep deals too. Get $11,000 off a 2025 Jeep Wagoneer or over $12,000 off a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back. For a limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine, this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Scattered showers and storms will be possible, mainly after the evening commute into the overnight hours. Hopefully this helps with the pollen a bit. Lows dip into the lower 40s. Saturday is cooler with highs in the mid to upper 50s. It's a breezy and sunny day.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 793 points to 45,166. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is Friday, so congratulations. If you work a traditional 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, you've made it to the weekend, and we thank you for starting your weekend with us. Now, let's get into the starting 5, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Throwing a little opening day out there? Is that what that sound is?
Oh, yeah.
It's the
Bulls home opener today. But
that's true, too. It's not the home opener today. The home opener is next week. Their season openers today. Mm-hmm. But number 5 is the Sweet 16 last night. We have some real Sweet 16 results. The Purdue-Texas game, I don't know if anyone else noticed this.
Which was a lot of fun, by the way.
It was a really, really fun game. I've never seen so Purdue had a tip-in with 0.7 seconds left to win the game. If you have the time today at some point, look up the tip-in. I've watched Steph Curry make threes. I've watched like the best shooters in the world. I've seen every kind of dunk, every kind of everything. I've never seen a shot where the net moved less.
I thought he missed it.
Yeah,
I was like, why are they reacting that way? I thought he missed it.
I thought it was like I thought it was behind like the optical illusion where if you miss left, but you're looking at it from the right, it looks like it went through. The net, I've never seen a ball of any kind, any sports ball, go through a basketball hoop and have the net move less than it did. But the tip-in was good. Purdue beat Texas, and a whole bunch of people's brackets rejoice. But it was true, like that's a March Madness game, right? You have an 11 seed, a 2 seed. The 11 seed spends way more on their roster than the 2 seed, and it came down to the last possible second, and you had basically the same shot that UNC had at the end of their ACC tournament to win it, right? It had to be a full court heave. and obviously Texas didn't convert, so Purdue comes away with the 2-point win. Great March Madness game. Then you have Nebraska getting upset by Iowa in a rivalry game that just so happens to happen in the Sweet 16. As if you need more like pageantry and intensity on the line. Nebraska was ahead at half and got beat by 6. And then I would say the two headliners as far as like bigger Goliaths weren't the two most competitive games. Arizona, like you've heard the what's the phrase, the Chrysler 300 looks like a Bentley till a Bentley pulls up?
Yeah.
Arkansas had looked pretty good recently. Arkansas looked like they may be a contender till they played against Arizona. And it was like, oh, never mind. Yeah, you're not a contender. Gotcha. Arizona, now that's a contender, right? That's the Bentley that pulled up. Arizona looked legit. And Illinois and Houston, I was looking forward to this game the most, but it was, at times, a rough watch. Houston made the game hideous, and Illinois won anyway. Illinois 65, Houston 55. At times, it felt like it was going to be 32-28.
Yeah, that's pretty low scoring.
Halftime, it was 24-22. The only person that enjoyed that game was Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett was like, see?
Like, yeah, let's go.
Someone gets it. That's how basketball's supposed to be played. Everyone else is going, this is one of the late games? Keep me awake here. It opened up a bit in the second half, and Illinois' offense took over, and they continue. I needed it, by the way. All 4 of my Final Four are still alive. Illinois was one of them. Need it. Need it.
Yeah, Houston was in my Final Four.
Aha! Take that. I need Duke tonight and Iowa State tonight.
My Final Four was Duke, Arizona.
So you're good
Houston,
there. Still alive. Houston not alive.
And Michigan.
Michigan's still alive.
Yep.
So you're 3 or 4. We'll see how it goes. That is number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together. Let's do that hockey.
Carolina Hurricanes practicing today. They I mean, it feels like they've been off since like last Wednesday.
I know. It feels like forever.
These don't get these kind of breaks at this point in the calendar that often, but they're off until tomorrow when they play New Jersey at home. The Devils come to town, 5 o'clock puck drop. Any
Sunday at home against the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday. 5 o'clock.
Little payback action.
Right?
Montreal got the better of them on Tuesday, which was actually when their last game took place. They practiced today. Any news out of practice? I admittedly meant to check and didn't.
Shane Gostisbehere, full participant in that practice today, actually skated alongside Alexander Nikishin on that third defensive pair, also quarterbacked power play 1. Rob Brindamore says it probably looks like he's going to be playing starting tomorrow.
The curiosity got the best of me.
Mm-hmm.
Today I went and tallied all the ones I was interested in.
Okay.
Canes took their point per game and their goal per game averages and just went, what's their 82 game pace? Gostisbehere, who granted has missed like 2 weeks a lot of times. Like he's just had a lot of small minor injuries that have kept him out. His 82 game pace is 19.68 goals and 78.72 points. That's Gostisbehere's 82 game pace this year.
Yeah.
Nearly a point per game pace.
So yeah, basically 19 and 79.
I mean, if we're rounding it's
up.
20 and 79.
Whew.
For Shane Gostisbehere, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Some others that stood out to me because I did it from a whole bunch. Just a little update here. 82 game pace for Seth Jarvis. I'll round up or down depending on the decimal.
Sure.
38 goals, 78 points. 82 game pace for Jarvis.
That's a career high pace.
Yeah. Aho, 29 goals, 83 points. Not career high, but pretty good.
But pretty standard, yeah.
Pretty standard. Svech, 29 goals, 71 points.
Almost career high goals, but definitely career high pace.
Anyone else that you're curious about? I'm not just going to read them all, but I've got a bunch in front of me.
Hit me with something random.
Something random. Stahl, 21 goals, 38 points.
Let's go.
One more random one. Nikishin, 11.48 goals, 33 points.
So yeah, 11 and 30. Yeah. 33, yeah. That's good.
Really,
what about Eric Robinson?
Robinson, 17.22 goals, 26.24 points. He gets a point. It's most likely going to be a goal.
He's got a good win-loss record.
Yeah, mostly going to be a goal. So the reason I did it was just kind of get a spot check, right? 10 games left. I'm not sure there's anybody who you would consider a disappointment aside from perhaps Logan Stankoven from a production standpoint. Being a second-line center, 16.4 goals per 82, his 82 game pace, 16.4 goals, 37.72 points. You'd like to have more from your second-line center, obviously.
Sure.
But there's some context there, right? He's a just-turned 23-year-old who's undersized and playing a new position that hasn't played since juniors. So a little bit of context, that one softens a little bit. But yeah, overall, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good for most. Blake, a little over 50 points per game pace on 82. All right, that's enough reading numbers to you. Let's get to number 3. Was that for Will Wade?
Yeah.
All right.
And just echoing what State fans are doing.
It appears as if the rumblings are, to just update you on the NC State coaching search, which began in earnest kind of by surprise this week. Josh Schertz, St. Louis head coach, and Justin Gainey, former NC State player, current assistant coach for Tennessee. The rumblings are those two are where the focus has drifted for NC State in their coaching search. I don't think either would be bad. I think Schertz obviously comes with a little bit more head coaching experience, but I say a little bit more. Josh Gainey has none. So more head coaching experience, but doesn't quite have the ties to the program. Has operated as an assistant in the state of North Carolina at both Queens and High Point. So he knows the area-ish, but, the roots aren't here. Gainey, while having less head coaching experience, by less I mean none, does have the roots, right? He played at NC State. He's obviously going to cherish the opportunity a bit more. Like, you can really only cherish when it is your alma mater, and it's where you played, and it's where you have so many memories. So I would say neither are bad. Both, I would want a certain type of assistant coaching and coaching staff around them. Schertz, I would want somebody that maybe understands state, right? Somebody with some state roots on the coaching staff. For Gainey, I would want somebody with head coaching experience. Of the options that are being mentioned as the betting favorites, I think the situation I would want most, if I were a State fan, would be Gainey as a head coach, and then his first recruiting call should be to Lavelle Moten, who is a longtime head coach here in the area, NC Central. And if I'm Gainey, I'm telling Moten, like, here's my budget. How much of it do you want to come be my lead assistant? Where Gainey can be the head guy with the NC State history, and Moten can be his connection to everything head coach, and his connections go in every different direction. That might be a pipe dream. I'm not sure Moten would even be interested in that, but that's where I would start if I were Justin Gainey and I got the job. That's number 3. How about number 2?
Just the two of us.
What? The UNC coaching job is also open, and they are also searching for their next head coach. The betting lines have very much singled out 2 leaders. Now, betting lines are not, the same as an insider reporting that, the search committee has zeroed in on. But the betting favorites are Billy Donovan, head coach of the Chicago Bulls, and Tommy Lloyd, head coach of Arizona, who is still playing in the NCAA tournament. I'm cautious about those 2 because they're expensive, right? Tommy Lloyd comes with a hefty buyout. Billy Donovan is making a boatload of money from Chicago. And the reason why that concerns me is there was a transition. I'll go not that long ago. Prior to NIL and prior to revenue share, there was always an arms race in college sports for facilities, right? And it was who has the cooler players lounge, who has the bigger by square footage indoor facility, and
who has a slide,
and a wiffle ball and mini golf in the locker room. For a while, it was really important to have like a barber's chair in your locker room. I don't know. And then revenue share and NIL became a thing, and everyone pretty much slammed the brakes on like being the cutting edge of facilities, and instead went, let's put that money on the floor, right? I'm wondering if that's not going to start happening in coaching salaries, where it's like, we used to pay $10 million a year. We used to pay $5 million a year for our coach, but we realized that a coach with maybe a little less bona fides, a little less leverage to demand more money from us, but given the money we would have spent on those high leverage coaches to spend on the players is a more consistent path towards success, right? Because when I posted, like, right after Will Wade's departure became very obvious, I was like, all right, who's the next guy at NC State? One of the most popular answers from State fans was whoever the big donors want to give the most money to, which is real, but also you don't want to be at the beck and call of donors if you don't have to be, right? So wherever the cash is that you were going to pay a coach, if you can divide that into getting your coach and also being able to support your roster, then you don't have to immediately kowtow and bow down to, the business owners that are given the huge dollar amounts. And there are some business owners, I assume business owners, that are given some huge dollar amounts, right? NC State had their day of giving. You go on their website and see the donations towards athletics. I think it was four anonymous donors combined to give $2.3 million, just mixed in with like here's $50, here's $1,000, here's $1 million. It was real, like, here's $50,000, here's $800,000. Just anonymous donors mixing it up. You don't want them to be able to, control things too much if you can avoid it. You want them to give a bunch of money, but they'll also do that when you win. At least you hope. It is very much a chicken or the egg situation, right? Winning does follow money, but also money follows winning. You got to get to one of them first. That is number 2. Right? Let's get to number 1.
The one! Shot clock is off. 16 seconds remaining. Duke will dribble it out. What an effort from the number 1 overall team in this tournament. The Duke Blue Devils are on to their 3rd consecutive Sweet 16 under John Shire. 81-58 the final as they take out TCU.
Duke is playing tonight in the Sweet 16. Right? They are where everybody wants to be, aside from the, we're now down to 12 teams that are still alive. They appear to be getting what I can only imagine is a emotional boost in the form of veteran guard Caleb Foster playing in the game. The first, to give credit where credit is due, the first I saw suggesting it was a likelihood was Tracy Wolfson. Yesterday, obviously, John Shire and a few others indicated it would be a game-time decision, and a 50-50 was thrown out there. Tracy Wolfson was the first that I saw that was like, nah, he's expected to play, barring some kind of a big setback. And now significantly more have gotten on that train. Including Adam Zagoria, who says flat out he will play. Zagoria being an insider for the New York Times, Forbes, and NewJersey.com. So with that going on, there's a few things. I think it's 19 days, less than 3 weeks since he had surgery.
I think it's 18 days.
That is insane. Duke has talent. And even if Caleb Foster doesn't play, they have enough basketball talent to not just beat St. John's, but go on and win a national championship, right? If you're just talking like, shooting ability, size, quickness, whatever, right? They have it because they recruit well and they develop well and all of those things. If there is something that Caleb Foster can bring that they do not have in spades without him, it is experience. Right? They're like, as good as the Boozers are, as good as impressive as Dame Sarr's skill set is, and we go on and on down the list, they don't have a lot of guys that have been through the battles, right? He's the only person in their rotation that has been at Duke for 3 seasons, right? Malik Brown has been in the ACC for 4 seasons, but he hasn't been at Duke for 3 seasons. He spent his first 2 years eligibility at Syracuse. Obviously, Isaiah Evans, Patrick Gongbo were a part of the team last year that made it to the Final Four, playing different roles. But, you know, Caleb Foster was a part of a Kyle Filipowski-led squad, right? Like, he's been through some stuff at Duke. And that experience, that ability to calm everybody down, I think is something that could be a key. And then the other thing is there is just an energy boost when one of your guys beats the timeline to come back and play out of an injury, right? When you're at practice and you're not expecting him back, and then that, like, the rumblings go through the locker room, Caleb's trying to play. I mean, he's doing tests. He's passing the test. Caleb might play. And you jog out for warm-ups, and he's got the big smile on his face. And John Shire yesterday was talking to the media about, he told me, you got to let me have, if I put all this rehab work in, you got to let me have one more chance to put the jersey on with my team. Like, there is a boost that will come with that. Now, all of that, combined with a bad basketball execution game does absolutely, it's worth nothing. You don't get any points for Caleb Foster coming back and playing, which is why you do need to have the talent and everything else, and everybody else needs to be locked in. But it's a cool story, and I do think it'll be part of the narrative of if Duke wins or loses against St. John's tonight. Now, aside from that, you look at St. John's. St. John's is a Rick Pitino squad, right? They're going to be tough. They're going to be good at the perimeter. They're going to make it very difficult for your offense because he's going to, boil it all down to the simplest form and just make life difficult, which is what Rick Pitino teams have done for as long as I've been alive at every different stop. Few points that I've been making about this particular matchup that I find interesting. Both have spent $10 million or more on their rosters, according to On3. So St. John's, despite being a 5 seed, is not some little engine that could. It's not like, they don't play football at St. John's, so they don't have they spent $10 million or more, according to On3, on their roster. They are not something to be scoffed at. They are also thrown together in a way that many don't think is the proper way to play basketball. And what I mean by that is, if you look at their starting lineup, ain't none of them started their career at St. John's, right? Not one of them. It is very much a compare and contrast between Duke and St. John's. And I'll give you this one. If you look at Duke's starting lineup, they started their careers at Duke, and then if Patrick Gongba starts, Duke. If Malik Brown starts, Syracuse. Now I'll give you where the St. John's starting lineup began their career. Washington State, USC, Kentucky, Texas, and Kansas. So this is crazy to say, but you could argue St. John's is one of the best rosters money can buy, and Duke is one of the best rosters money can develop. Like, it's still money, don't get me wrong, but there's a bit of continuity and a bit of like once you show up, you're loyal and all of that on the Duke side that not many people would attribute to Duke. If you're looking for a key, I'll tell you this. Patrick Gongba is also a very, very big key to this team. As how Duke played in the first 2 rounds, I don't think is good enough to get out of this weekend. Right? If they play the same way they played in the first weekend this weekend, I don't think they'll be in the Final Four. And the biggest place for improvement would be Patrick Gongba because he didn't play in their first game last weekend. And the second one, although he played effectively in the minutes he played, it wasn't a full workload for him. If he's back and more, closer to 100%, I think that's gigantic for Duke. Partially because he's gigantic and they don't have a lot of size in their depth. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. With that being said, it's our last chance to give away some Wheezy tickets.
That's right.
But you have to win them. Lil Wayne is back, and he's bringing 20-plus years of the Carter Classics to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, September 26th, with special guests 2 Chainz. Go ahead and call right now, 919-860-5326, for your chance to compete on the numbers game for a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets are on sale now, but you could win a pair. You just have to earn them by winning the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Call in now. 2 contestants. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
In some ways, I think Duke is undervalued or underrated as the #1 overall seed. None of the national people really have been looking at Duke as the true national championship favorite. Most of them have been on Arizona or some ways Michigan. I do remember Duke beating Michigan, but that doesn't matter. That was a close game in Washington. I just think Duke has what it takes to get it all done at the end. We'll find out.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Coming to you live with a show you can't miss. Turnpike Troubadours. Playing Redhead Amphitheater Raleigh on Saturday, October 10th.
Picking up barges on a long hot summer day.
With special guests, Muscadine Bloodline and the Creekers. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Southern States Mazda Concert Series, presented by Live Nation.
At quarterback, calling the right play could change the whole game. And when your car breaks down, same idea. Make the right call before the big repair bill hits. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. Plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, and rental car options, all to keep your drive alive. Look, breakdowns happen, but choosing CarShield, that's the easiest call you'll make all day.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Preston in Durham, as well as John in Raleigh as our contestants for today. They will be battling it out with numbers game trivia to find out who gets Lil Wayne tickets. And of course, he is also bringing with him 2 Chainz. I don't know. I really enjoy saying that. As always, we'll bring them each onto the show. We will ask them the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Preston, we'll start with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The question is, it is a Friday, which means the weekend is staring us in the face. What are you looking forward to most about this weekend? But because we are a sports show, make sure you keep it sports related.
I would say see if both the Duke men's and women's squads can prevail throughout the weekend and both make it to the Final Four.
All right. Dennis, any follow-ups?
Nope.
All right. We roll to John. John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Same question to you. It is a Friday, so we're just ahead of the weekend. What are you looking forward to most about the weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure you keep it sports-related.
I'm looking forward to the Sweet 16 games, the Alabama, Michigan, Michigan State, UConn, Duke, St. John's today. Should be great.
All right. I respect that as well.
Yeah.
Dennis, similar answers, a little different. Are you rolling with Preston or John?
Both great answers, by the way. The correct answer we were looking for is actually ECU at UNC Women's Lacrosse tomorrow. I will be on the call for that. That's the answer we were looking for. But I got to go with Preston. He's the one that said Duke for both men's and women's. So he's trying to keep it truly local on both sides. But both fantastic answers. Sweet 16 this weekend is going to be awesome. And then, obviously, the Elite Eight games tomorrow and Sunday.
And speaking of Sweet 16 men's and women's, Carolina women's basketball is in the Sweet 16 right now against top-seeded UConn.
Yeah.
And in the first quarter, it is 11 for UConn, 10 for Carolina.
All right.
They're hanging with them. Just hit a big three. Preston will get to go first. John will go second. Don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold. Preston, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. We have NFL Panthers throughout history. NFL players with alliterative names, meaning their first and last names start with the same letter. NBA, Central Division, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's do NBA, Central Division.
All right. NBA, Central Division players. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
45.
Correct. Kevin Porter Jr., Milwaukee Bucks.
3.
Correct. Jalen Duran, Detroit Pistons.
0.
Correct. Ivica Zubac, Indiana Pacers.
40.
Correct. Trey Jones, Chicago Bulls.
3.
Incorrect. Trey Jones, Chicago Bulls.
33.
Incorrect. Trey Jones, Chicago Bulls.
10.
Incorrect. Trey Jones, Chicago Bulls. You said 3. You said 33. What was the last one you said? 10? They're all kind of in the right numerical genre. We needed 30. 30 is what we were looking for.
Okay.
But 4 out of 5 is a very solid number. We'll see if it holds up for you. Go ahead and stay on the line.
Thought he had that.
Oh man.
Thought he had that. He was like four names in like 10, 12 seconds.
And not the easiest names, or not the easiest pulls in the world. Either way, we'll see if John can one-up him. John, are you there?
I am.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players with alliterative names. First and last names start with the same letter. NFL Panthers throughout history or NHL Hurricanes throughout history?
NFL Panthers throughout history.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. And you do need all 5 for the win, but you have the entire clock to do so. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jake Delhomme, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Correct. Ricky Prohl, Carolina Panthers.
81.
Correct. Mark Fields, Carolina Panthers.
3.
Incorrect. Tim Biakapatuka, Carolina Panthers.
21.
Correct. Michael Barrow, Carolina Panthers.
30.
Incorrect. Mark Fields, Carolina Panthers.
45.
Incorrect. Michael Barrow, Carolina Panthers.
96.
Incorrect. Mark Fields, Carolina Panthers. Well played. Like it's a good run. It's sometimes the cards don't fall your way. Sometimes the names don't line up with your memory. But you got 3. Unfortunately, not enough for the win. But hopefully you had some fun.
Yeah, it was great.
For those of you playing at home, Fields 58, Barrow 56.
I think he said 96 for Barrow there at the end.
You do need just, nobody knows every number in the history of numbers. You need to get a little luck that they just happen to fall into your category. But he did pretty well. I think both contestants did. Preston is the one, however. Preston gets the tickets to see Lil Wayne. Congratulations, Preston.
Thank you.
well-played numbers game on all accounts, and you came out victorious. So to the victor goes the spoils. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
All right.
All right. We do have a new prize coming your way on Monday. And just for numbers game aficionados, and I know we have some diehard fans out there of the numbers game, next week we will be on the road for part of the week out there in Indianapolis for the Final Four, and that will include probably no numbers game those days because remotes, it gets a little bit more difficult. But other than that, we'll have new prizes and everything to go for next week. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, while Dennis makes sure you that the contestant gets their prize. I will update you on some unfortunate news. It's been a up and down kind of news breaking deal here with the car accident involving Tiger Woods in Jupiter, Florida. Tiger Woods, I'll give you the full rundown. About 3:30 today, it was made public, right? Reports surfaced that Tiger Woods had been in a rollover car accident a little after 2 o'clock in Jupiter, Florida. That has since been confirmed, but at that point there was very little detail, right? Didn't know who else was involved. Was anyone else involved? Didn't know if there were any injuries. So we stayed updated. Then it was revealed there were some pictures from the New York Post of the car. There was a 2-car accident, but it appeared very few, if any, injuries. And one witness for TMZ said that Tiger Woods appeared okay after the accident. The latest bit of news here, and it comes from the Martin County Sheriff's Office and has been passed along to the public by many outlets, golf.com, TMZ, Yahoo Sports, and others. Tiger Woods was arrested for DUI after a 2-car accident Friday afternoon in Florida. Martin County Sheriff's Office is the announcing party there. I mean, there's no excuse for that if it ends up being true, and especially with his history, it's something that is sad and also unacceptable. Again, if it ends up proving true. TMZ has more reporting here. He was arrested in Jupiter, Florida after speeding down a street, clipping a car, and rolling his Range Rover over, according to law enforcement. The incident happened about 2 p.m. Pickup truck was turning in front of him into a driveway, and his Range Rover, according to the sheriff, roared down the street at a high speed. I mean, what are we doing here? If that's how it ends up being, being true, what are we doing here? Tiger Woods has made quite literally over $1 billion in his career and has a history of making poor decisions behind the wheel. Why in the world does he not have the highest paid driver taking him everywhere? I can't get out of his own way. I mean, and I'm somebody like Tiger Woods to me, like throughout my childhood and into my early adulthood, he was a superhero. Like some people watch the X-Men. I watch like Tiger Woods highlights. Like that's what would. But how many times can you make decisions like this that are just, quite frankly, unacceptable? Here's another addition from TMZ. They conducted an alcohol test and it registered as 0.00%. He believes Woods was, meaning the sheriff, believes Woods was not under the influence of alcohol, but rather medication. So, again, more details. We'll have to wait and see. But if this ends up being another kind of, I don't know, stepping point on a quite concerning history, there's some real questions that have to be answered here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Driving under the influence doesn't mean automatically alcohol.
Tiger was placed under arrest and taken to the station, again, according to TMZ, where he refused a urine test. He was booked on DUI and refusal to submit to the urinalysis. We'll see, but bummer on multiple accounts.
Yep.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, you have something you want to tell the people?
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, Last chance I get to tell you this. Last chance I get to tell you this before the weekend. You got to go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Simple to enter. You got to go to caniacsbike.com. But the reason why I say this is the last time that I get to tell you about it is because the deadline's this Sunday. You got to enter in by Sunday night, folks. Otherwise, guess what? It's gone. It's gone to someone else. Someone else that decided to go to caniacsbike.com and enter for their chance to win. Don't wait around, folks. Literally takes you a minute. Don't do it while you're driving, obviously. But go to caniacsbike.com. You do it on your phone, your laptop, computer, whatever it is. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win this beautiful Ducati motorcycle. By the way, you want to see pictures of the bike? You'll see it right there on the website, caniacsbike.com. Swing by Art Moto Garage. Go see the bike for yourself. It's located right here in Raleigh. Beautiful. No detail missed on this motorcycle. I guarantee you, you're going to see it and go, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I want to ride that thing. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will round out the week the same way we always do. Making our picks. Next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Flying out of RDU? You've already got a lot to think about if you're traveling. Let Fast Park and Relax take over the parking part of your trip. Fast Park and Relax is just minutes from the terminal. You simply pull into our easy access slot, park in one of our fully covered, well-lighted parking spaces, and one of our comfortable shuttles will pick you right up, load your luggage, and deliver you to your terminal. No walking, no waiting. That's why we're called Fast Park and Relax. We make airport parking easy. Check out our free parking offer at thefastpark.com.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine this time next week you could be credit card debt free. Loan Pronto, A+ rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, and it is Friday, and it is Sweet 16 Day, and it is time to make our picks.
All right,
we get some music going.
The music didn't fire.
You can sing. It's cool. Just go ahead and sing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Making picks.
I like this.
Making picks.
All right, now let's go ahead and set up the picks that we have to make.
Okay.
Now that we are appropriately musicianed into the segment.
You're officially into this one. Let's actually go right into the NCAA tournament. We'll save Duke for last.
Okay.
Let's actually go in reverse order of tip-off time. Iowa State, the 2 seed, taking on 6 seed Tennessee. That is in the Midwest region, taking place in Chicago. Iowa State, 3.5-point favorites. So the 2 seed.
So what you mean is potentially Carolina's next head coach against potentially NC State's next head coach.
Yes, actually, yes, it is.
Otzelberger for Iowa State, head coach, is at least in the mix, although he keeps trying to take his name out of the mix for Carolina because he wants to stay at Iowa State, if you ask him. And then Justin Gainey, who's one of the betting favorites to be the next head coach at NC State, is an assistant at Tennessee. So in that battle, I'm taking, I guess, the guy who's in the pool. There we go. The guy who's in the pool for Carolina. I think Iowa State will win. Joshua Jefferson is kind of trying to pull his own Caleb Foster.
Mm-hmm.
He was injured last week in their first game and then didn't play in their second game. And he's, I mean, if he's not their best player, he's their second best player. He's a big reason why I put Iowa State in my Final Four. And if he's back, that will make me feel much better about it. If he's not, I'll be nervous and wondering. But if he's playing, I like Iowa State a lot. If he's not playing, I like Iowa State a little over Tennessee. That's kind of the way I look at it. So Iowa State to get it done against Tennessee.
I'll take the Cyclones in that one as well, even though I didn't have them going past the round of 16 in my bracket, but I'll still take them in this regard. Next, what we have, again, we'll go reverse order of tip-off. UConn, the 2 seed in the East, taking on the 3rd seed in the East, Michigan State. You want to talk about a couple blue blood programs going at it? UConn, 2.5-point favorites up in Washington, D.C.
UConn, 2.5-point favorites up in Washington, D.C. I'm going Michigan State. I'm going Izzo. I completely understand what UConn has done in like the last 30 years and how they've built something kind of special. I think they've actually overachieved a little bit this year. And they also didn't finish the regular season on a high note. So Michigan State's just going to be steady Eddie, and I think that's going to be enough to get it done against UConn.
All right, we're going reverse order tip-off tonight. Michigan, the 1 seed in the Midwest, game is in Chicago. They are taking on the 4 seed in the Midwest, Alabama. Michigan, 9.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I think there's a reason for that. I think Alabama is, again, there's no disrespect to it, right? Making a Sweet 16 is impressive, but I think that's ceiling-ish. I think Michigan is perhaps a forgotten part of the Big Three. Right at the beginning of this tournament, I thought there were 3 1 seeds that were head and shoulders above everybody else. And most of the analytics agrees with that. It was Texas, it was Arizona, and it was Michigan. Michigan was dealing with an injury to their backup point guard and didn't finish the season the way they wanted, but the analytics still really liked them. So I think Michigan is maybe a forgotten member of that top trio, and they're going to look like it's not against Alabama.
Yeah, I think Michigan cruises to a win in that one. All right, let's go with the 7-10 tip-off, which, by the way, you can listen to it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Duke, the 1 seed in the East, taking on the 5 seed in the East, the Johnnies, St. John's. Duke, 6.5-point favorites, and by all accounts, it looks like Caleb Foster will be playing tonight.
Caleb Foster playing is a big deal. Patrick Gongba being closer to fully healthy would be a bigger deal. Like my cop-out answer for like who's going to win this game would be if Gongba's 85% or better, I think they win and probably cover. If he's anything less than that, it starts to get a little hairy. But that's a cop-out, right? That's not an answer. That's a question in return. My answer is I think Duke wins. I think didn't see any reasons to assume that Big Pat has had any kind of a setback in their second round game. So I'm assuming that he's at least more healthy. And if he's more healthy, I like them more. So give me Duke to win and cover.
By the way, in the official injury report, Caleb Foster has no injury designation.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Part cyborg, I believe.
Hey,
let's actually go to
maybe
tomorrow's games because we have the Elite Eight starting tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, 6:09 tip-off. Number 9 in the South region, Iowa, taking on number 3 in the South region, Illinois. Illinois 6.5-point favorites. This is a Big Ten matchup.
Illinois is one of my favorite teams in the tournament this year. I have them in my Final Four. I had them in my Final Four in my bracket at the beginning. Wagler's a really, really good player, and that perimeter is really, really good. Iowa is very, very impressive to get where they've gotten. And, I've been wrong every step of the way for Iowa. I didn't. So, you have a team that I feel very, very right about against a team that I've been repeatedly wrong about. And one of those streaks is gonna continue, right? Either I'm really, really right about Illinois and they're going to be in the Final Four, or I'm really, really wrong about Iowa and I didn't think they'd be in the round of 32 and they're going to be in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping I'm right. I'm going to stick to my guns here and go Illinois. And I think there's a very different – I think this is a big win for Illinois, so I think they cover.
All right, another matchup in the Elite Eight tomorrow, West Regional Championship. Arizona 1 seed, Purdue 2 seed. Arizona, the Wildcats, 6.5-point favorites against the Boilermakers.
I don't like all these big spreads, and I don't like that I keep taking favorites. I have Arizona in my championship. I don't want to double back.
Kind of got to go for it.
I'm going for it. Purdue is I think a good matchup for Arizona in that Arizona beats you senseless, and Purdue gives me Rocky vibes where it's just I'm going to keep taking punches and keep walking forward. So, what did it say, 6.5?
6.5.
Arizona wins, Purdue covers, just to make it so I'm not picking all favorites.
If you are a UNC fan that wants Tommy Lloyd, the Arizona coach, to be your next coach of the Tar Heels, do you want them to lose tomorrow? That way you can get that process started right away to get him to be your next head coach? Or do you want him to win and be like, hey, we're getting a Final Four head coach?
I think you want him to lose.
Okay.
You want him to lose so the price isn't super high? You want him to lose so you can get that process started? And you want him to lose because I don't think he leaves if he wins the national championship. It's
that too.
It's very difficult to be standing at a podium at a parade and say, thank you, good night.
I'm out.
Tip your waitresses. I'm going to Chapel Hill because there I can win a national championship.
That'd be a pretty baller move.
So I don't think it happens. So if you want Tommy Lloyd, I think you want him to lose as soon as possible. And do you know what else you want him to do? Keep a fantastic relationship with any good players that aren't going to be going pro out of Arizona this year.
That's true.
Because they can hit the portal and follow him right along. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But also, by the way, I'm not necessarily one that thinks you should want Tommy Lloyd. I think you could want your version of Tommy Lloyd. He was hired from a mid-major assistant is what he was before going to Arizona.
A long time mid-major assistant, too. I think he was there for 20 years with Mark Few.
Is there a bit of are we being a bit disingenuous? Gonzaga's not generic mid-major.
That's true.
They're something, more than a mid-major, but less than a major.
Mm-hmm.
But he was an assistant there, and it worked swimmingly for Arizona. Maybe you could go find your version of Tommy Lloyd rather than Arizona doing all the hard work and then you paying for it.
All right, let's go to Sunday. Let's fast track to Sunday. You picked Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
You picked
Arizona.
Michigan.
Oh, I picked. Yeah, you're right.
I'm talking about the Midwest region. You picked Iowa State. You picked Michigan. So for the Elite Eight, obviously no spread on this, but Michigan, Iowa State. Who's your winner in the Elite Eight out of the Midwest?
Iowa State.
Really? You're taking Iowa State?
Again, they were my Final Four from pre-bracket time.
Really? I have Michigan in the championship game, so I'm going to go Michigan on this.
I think I overestimated Kayson's injury being their backup point guard and going this is going to hurt him, but they haven't looked like it's hurt him a ton in the tournament. But if Joshua Jefferson's back for Iowa State, there's a fighter's chance there. So give me Iowa State and Otzelberger to be the biggest, most flashy name in coaching.
Okay. 1 minute here. You have Duke beating St. John's.
Mm-hmm.
You have UConn beating Michigan State. East Regional.
No, I have Michigan State.
I'm sorry, Michigan State beating UConn. My apologies. Even though they're the underdog.
Correct.
So you have Michigan State beating UConn to take on Duke. East Regional Championship Sunday. Who do you have?
I do pride myself on, like, when new information arises, I'm willing to change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
All of my picks have been exactly what's in my bracket. And I have Duke winning the whole thing. So Duke with a healthy Gumba. I think Gumba is the most important deal there. A healthy Foster helps a lot as well. But really it's, Cameron Boozer and the crew. So Duke gets the win, and they end up winning it all is my prediction, and I'm sticking with it. We do have Overdrive coming up next. We're looking at UNC's coaching job opening to start, and then we'll get to the Duke Sweet 16 game after that. Enjoy a great weekend of sports. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Move your sports day forward.
For teams who missed the tournament or took early losses, the time to reflect ended the morning after. The business of player retention is now key for your program, and the playing field is more level than it ever was as revenue shares in place. Your coach's pitch now focuses on when do we get our next championship, because that's the only currency your fan base cares about.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.